at
Yep,
least there.
let's
So
let's hope for the best.
as long as you see the green moving, that means it's picking up, right?
Hmm.
So, whoops, whatever, things didn't work out. So, I'm not going to repeat myself, but I'm just here with Frank from Retro Gaming Arts, good friend of mine. Figured that we'd talk about E3 and see what went on and maybe what topics of interest were to us. Not going to cover everything because there was a lot. There's
Yeah.
still stuff going on, but so I guess maybe what I want to ask you first, Frank, what does E3 mean to you? Like, what does it represent?
Well, to me,
Thank you, Efren.
oh, cool. So to me, E3 has always kind of been, I mean, at least when I was younger, it was either game magazines or you just saw E3 on G4 or something. So whenever I wanted to know about, okay, what's the big major games that are going to come out, or if Sony's going to release a new console, this is where I go. This is like pretty much, the carnival for all video games.
Oh, Ernie,
Oh,
you just got home?
Ernie.
It's
Oh,
all good.
good.
I got Frank here, man.
Mm,
We're good to go. So yeah, I agree. Back in the day, E3, and even maybe to a lesser extent now, especially kind of this year,
mm.
you kind of feel like it's kind of dwindling down.
I
But
mean, with the
E3
internet and all that, so
E3 was the Super Bowl. E3
yeah,
was the Super Bowl for gamers. It was the Oscars for gamers. It's the big showcase where you find out
right
things are
at Carnival,
happening.
just
Yeah,
everything you see, it just looks amazing.
I'll light up Frank up. I'll light Frank up in this discussion. I want to be there so bad. You're just gonna shit on everything, Ernie.
Oh wow.
Don't worry, you're here.
Still not. Oh wait.
I just plug it into another. Yeah.
Yep, it's working.
All right. Sound should be back up.
I hope. And Ernie, I don't. If you can hear us, I don't know how long we're gonna be. I mean, it's already 8, I believe. So I mean, in an hour, I guess you could probably show up.
Can you
Maybe.
hear us now? I'm sorry. This is so what I think happened with this mic is I had plugged it into a USB 3.0
Mm-hmm.
and it's meant for 2.0 and that was my mistake. So, yo, what up, Rax?
Oh, Rax is here too. All right.
Can you hear us now? Good. Say yo. Give a big yo if you can hear us now. It's showing it picking up now on the chart, so on the equalizer. Cool. All right. So what I was just saying before, E3 is like the Super Bowl of stuff. So we're just gonna give some quick thoughts. And if you guys wanna give points of discussion, so actually let me catch up here. Andrea, what's up? How you doing? So Andrea was a customer at Game Haven way back in the day.
Oh, really?
You guys upset Sony wasn't there. Yeah, because
Yeah.
so
They dropped the ball on that one.
I mean, it's kind of a way of saying that E3 is not what it once was, right? E3 was the showcase where these companies would be giving out the stuff for like the end of the year, the next year, even like to the next 5 years, right? Still
Mm-hmm.
projecting stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that Nintendo stopped doing that a couple years ago, that was one sign. Now Sony isn't doing it. So it was really just left to Microsoft and the lesser companies, Ubisoft, Square Enix, what was it, Bethesda.
Hmm.
But it was always the big three, right? The big three that you look forward to: Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. So now it's just Microsoft. So the show feels
A little,
very empty, hollow.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, now it just seems more like just for the smaller companies or the more individual companies to show off what they've got. So I mean,
just for you, Ryan.
yep.
Thanks to Frank, actually, he got the hookup. Shabine Brewing. We got a video game themed beer actually, so that's really cool. But yeah, digging the Dreamcast shirt. So this is actually the guys who go to the con circuit. It's Scoreless Designs. So if you check them out on Facebook, Scoreless Designs, you can find their page and they sell this stuff. Or if you go to Retro World, or they'll be selling stuff there. But yeah, so Sony not being there is weird because Sony, at least to me, I don't know how you feel.
They usually will always win.
Sony, yeah, they dominate Microsoft, right? Microsoft, and even kind of to the point this year, I wouldn't say Microsoft had a bad show. They had a good show, but the problem is,
They're the only ones, really.
well, they're the only big ones,
Yeah.
but the majority of their games were all, with the exception of Gears and Halo, and even that is quote exclusive. Everything else is multi-plat.
Yeah.
So Sony, traditionally during their shows, has things that are exclusive to Sony, things you will only find on a Sony console. So you have God of War, Uncharted, all that stuff. Final
Yeah,
Fantasy.
and I agree. For smaller companies, this could be a better thing. This seems like where they're actually flourishing because usually E3 you wouldn't really always go there for the smaller companies. You want to see what new console or what new peripheral is going to come out. I mean, what new features.
All right, last bastion here.
If they can even hear me from all the way over there.
All right, so now I'm using the webcam mic.
What's up, Punisher?
So there's going to be a noticeable drop in quality because of that. I'm not sure what's happening. Hopefully you can hear me now, but I don't know. The Yeti mic is just shorting out every so often, so I haven't used it in a long time, so maybe something's wrong. I need to do that. But
See what Rax just said?
it's back. So okay, so this is picking up from the webcam now, so it's gonna be not as clear, but hopefully you guys can hear us. This is the webcam mic, unfortunately. So I don't know, my Yeti mic just keeps shorting out every time I have it on the USB, so I don't know how tinny or how atrocious it may sound. I apologize, but I'm not a professional by any means, so totally my fault for having faith in things and not testing out beforehand. But
Oh man, that's a total blunder on our part.
good thing they showed mics at E3. Oh,
Oh,
all right.
did they?
Totally my fault for. Ooh, it does sound tinny. Yikes. All right. C'est la vie. It is what it is. I'm not pretending to be anything professional, so whatever. But yeah, so as I was saying, you guys are talking about, smaller companies getting the exposure at E3, and that's great. But maybe this year, I guess, kind of the litmus test to see if they would stand water. And I don't know. Did you see any of the other press conferences outside of Microsoft? There was Ubisoft, Square Enix, Bethesda, EA.
I did see a little bit of Ubisoft, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it just seems like they're really stealing the show. It seems like this is what it's going to be now. So,
What was your favorite? What was your favorite press conference there? Hey, what's up, Ryan? Getting ready for work. Nice. So mine's I didn't see them all, to be honest. I'm very backed up on E3. I actually have on the TV off screen coverage going on. I guess they're showing Castlevania Collection,
yeah.
which they announced the Contra Collection for Switch. I don't know if that's out for everyone just yet, but yeah, I mean Ubisoft was bad. It was really embarrassing to go through.
Wasn't much to see.
They announced some Ghost Recon expansion with John Bernthal, the guy who plays Punisher in the Netflix show.
Yeah, but I mean, who was really excited for that?
They announced some weird top-down game with Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, and all these. It was all the characters in
I
one.
feel bad for Splinter Cell. It's just getting pulled through the mud now. Just let them go in peace.
Ghost Recon looks good. Can't wait for Doom. Sadly, no Resident Evil 3 announcement from Capcom. I think the show floor ends tomorrow, so I guess there's a small chance they may do it, but I don't know. Your guess would be as good as mine, Punisher.
So, now that we have Ernie in the chat, and now that you're right here, I wanted to ask you a question. So, how do you guys feel on the whole shebang with Shenmue 3? How do you guys feel on it?
All right, so yeah. Shenmue 3, right? Okay, so full disclosure, I'm an absolute fanboy of Shenmue. So at this point, to make Shenmue 3 a reality, if it had been part of the campaign where I had to play Fortnite for 2 weeks straight, I would have done it. So that's how much I care about Shenmue. So the whole thing that everyone's pissed off about now is that Shenmue now is apparently Epic Store's exclusive, only for a year. So after a year, it will end up on Steam. So people were pissed off who did the Kickstarter. They're like, well, I pre-ordered it, and never at any point though in the fine print did it say it's coming to Steam. They said it's coming to PC. They didn't specify which platforms. But right now it's the cool thing to hate Epic Store. Whatever.
But do you think it's a smart decision to kind of do that?
No, it's not. It's not. But I don't blame Yu Suzuki. I don't blame his studio. That's the publisher, Deep Silver, who did that. So that's out of the developer's hands. So they're the ones in charge of making the game. The publisher is in charge of making sure it gets distributed to a wide enough.
I don't think anybody's blaming the developer. I think what they're pointing their fingers at is, okay, so Deep Silver, we've been backing this game for God knows how long, and can you at least give us a clear answer on whether we can get a refund back on this, or I mean, after a year, are we just going to get our Steam keys for this? I mean, what are we going to get here?
So yeah, people were asking for refunds. And apparently they're being denied refunds.
And we're just not getting anything. So that's just kind of, no matter how you look at it, that's just kind of spitting on you, really.
I mean, at this point, again, I'm such a fanboy that it doesn't bother me. If I need to download Epic Launcher, then so be it. Shenmue, for me, transcends any of the other bullshit that you need to get through, the hoops you need to jump through to get to play it. But I certainly understand where people are coming from. I just hope that this cools off after about a month or two, and people, when the game does come out, again, the alternative is play it on PlayStation 4. I mean, that's the other choice. If you're really so adamant against playing it on Epic Games, you could play it on console.
Now, what I can understand is this. Let's say, all right, if you did back it, and if I do download the Epic launcher and all that, do I still get my game?
Okay. So
that's the other question, but so you haven't answered.
So in my case, I threw down $300. So
I paid down like 60.
I'm getting a physical copy. So, but the physical copy for PC nowadays is moot. It's a
I don't
CD.
think. Wait, are they still giving out physical copies? Because I saw that they only.
Nothing has been clarified, either or. But I'm under the assumption I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that I will get it at some point. But yeah, I mean, Epic, people hate it because it's kind of taking stuff away from Steam. People are so used to Steam after all these years. So I can understand where the hate comes from. But again, Shenmue transcends that. So if Shenmue was a Switch exclusive, I would have bought a Switch just for that. But again, that just shows how blind my fanboyism is for that game.
So, doubling on that, so Panzer Dragoon Saga.
So not Saga, so it's actually a remake of the first Panzer Dragoon from Saturn. So
I was at Saga. I think.
So
Saga.
that was announced during the Nintendo Direct, coming out on Switch this winter. Now again, that's awesome. It's great news. But now there's a couple things. I am assuming that it is a Switch exclusive in the beginning. So I would say the first year. After that, it'll end up multi-plat. I'm waiting for confirmation on that. If by the launch window of the game nothing is mentioned, then I guess I'll have to get a Switch.
I mean,
I have faith.
For Metroid, I was going to get a Switch for Metroid whenever that comes out. So, yeah, I mean, would it be cool to play Panzer Dragoon on the go? Yeah, sure, but I mean, is it a console seller? No, I don't believe so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Panzer is such a wholly unique type of game.
That just feels like something I'd want to play at home, to be honest. I don't think I would want to play that on the go.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, if I had a Switch, I would be docking it. I wouldn't even be playing it handheld, so it would just be connected to my TV. So I just sent, Punisher, I sent a link to the Facebook page of the company who makes these shirts, Scoreless Designs, so go check them out. But anyways, yeah, so I'm waiting for them to announce it'll be PC, PS4, Xbox later on. Not right now, because Switch is where the announcement and all the hype is. But again, Sega in the past couple of years, they've been pretty smart about releasing all of their games on as many platforms as possible. So I don't think they would take something as culturally held in such a high regard as Panzer and just leave it on Switch. They'll leave it on Switch for the beginning because they probably made the deal with Nintendo.
I think they got an offer from Nintendo to do that.
But unless it's like Bayonetta 2, where Nintendo is actually helping fund the game, which is why Bayonetta 2 never released on any other platform, then it'll only be Nintendo. But if that's not the case, then it eventually has to hit the other platforms. But it looks great. I mean, a lot of people missed out on Panzer Dragoon when it came out. Because again, one, it was on Saturn, and in America, Saturn was, for every 50 homes that had a PlayStation, you had maybe one with a Saturn. So the exposure is pretty low. But it's an amazing game. It's an amazing game.
Yeah,
staying on Switch, Rax?
Yeah, sorry, Rax. I don't think that's gonna happen, man.
You may be right. You may be right. I'm just, and from a business standpoint, I think Sega would be neutering their potential sales because I don't think the Sega fanboy demographic would have the Switch. They probably would have a PS4.
So, about exclusives for Nintendo, I mean, no doubt. I mean, there's probably going to be a lot more down the road. Absolutely. It's just right now, you got to understand, I mean, you can say that, hey, man, that was funny. Hey man, the Switch, it's finally outselling the PS4. It's outselling all the other consoles right now. But at the same time, you can make the argument, well, everybody owns a PS4. Everybody owns one.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I mean, again, the Switch is selling great. It's selling great. So if Sega decides that that's the only platform they want to go with, then I respect that. Will I get Panzer Day 1? I don't know. But I will eventually get it, just to support.
The thing is, if they were truly going with Nintendo, then, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys play DOA, but the KOF characters wouldn't have shown up on there.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of other stuff wouldn't have happened either. So, I mean, if they were truly going with Nintendo, we'd have another Sega character announced for Smash by then. So,
Actually,
which we got Banjo-Kazooie, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
fun
That
and
makes
funny.
sense.
Funny enough, I spoke with Frank about this on Monday. I was like, "Nah, there's no way that's gonna happen."
Nah, I mean-
Lo and behold, it happened.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like, they asked the...
So,
they
Microsoft and
asked the
Nintendo
CEO,
do have a good relationship going on right now, so that's cool. That's cool. I mean, scratch my back, I scratch yours. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of the way it should be. Unfortunately, when you're working with billions and billions of dollars, that
Doesn't
doesn't
always seem to
work.
Yeah.
Punisher, yes, you did. That is correct. So during Nintendo Direct, they did announce that RE5 and 6 are coming to Switch at the end of the year.
You can call that a win, but yeah.
I mean, again, I guess they're having all the Resident Evils.
On the Switch. I mean, that's a good idea. So, I mean, having 2 games announced on the Switch is better than just saying, "Hey, we have Devil May Cry 1 on the Switch."
Mhm. So
Like,
to be
why-
fair,
like, just why one game? That's
to
not
be
really-
fair, the Switch will now have every mainstream Resident Evil game.
True, very true. I
Uh,
mean, that is enticing if you want to play that on the go. I would say playing Resident Evil 4 on the go would be pretty hard, especially 5. Maybe 6. I mean, it's kind of a slower game, I would say, kind of. But I mean, having all the Resident Evils on the go does definitely seem enticing. So I can see why people are going to the Switch a lot more.
Now, my question is, how is the co-op going to work? So Resident Evil 5 and 6, it's all about having a partner with you.
You are
So
correct.
are you, am I going to have one Joy-Con, I pass it to you,
Oh, God.
and we share it on that tiny
Oh,
screen?
God.
I just don't. Now, the smart thing would be, I get the dock,
Yep.
plug it into the TV, you get the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, would be the ideal way to play that. That would be the split screen.
That's how the Wii U is supposed to work.
Hmm.
Yep.
So whether or not that happens, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but yeah.
Look, absolutely. Resident Evil 6 sucked absolutely. But 5 did not suck unless you had co-op.
Yeah, so if you had
Co-op
a
was fun.
co-op partner with you, the game was good. If you relied on the AI, it sucked. 6 had a lot of issues.
Oh.
I think it was just way too ambitious. They were trying to take 10 different games and put it into one, and
I mean, if it was a movie, it would have been much better.
it
but
worked. It worked in chunks, but then once you played the whole campaigns, it fell apart. So, Ryan, not all the mainline RE is still missing GameCube ports. So RE2, 3, Code Veronica. Well, actually, RE7 is out, but I think in Japan only. I don't think they've released it here, but it would only
No.
beg to.
Code Veronica, I mean,
You're right,
that-
though, Ryan. I'm sorry.
is Code Veronica a main one? I don't believe so.
I mean, no one
Not
talks
really.
about it anymore, so I would consider it is. But to the casual fan, they probably haven't heard of it. So.
We'll just say it is. I mean, might as well. So
Mhm.
that's what. It is.
So let me go back to some of the other comments you guys were saying, because we're kind of yapping our gums, but
Yeah.
I do want to try to
So,
address everything you guys are saying.
He's
So,
only there for Final Fantasy Doom Eternal. Oh yeah, Doom Eternal was there.
so let's talk about Final Fantasy, right? So Final Fantasy during Square Enix's conference, they did announce that Final Fantasy 7 is getting a 2020, I don't know when,
Mhm.
date. It is
It's
releasing.
coming on March, I believe.
From what I understand, it's releasing on 2 Blu-rays, and it only covers the Midgard portion of the game.
Which
So
seems
I
very shady to me.
I don't know Resident. I keep saying Resident Evil. I don't know Final Fantasy 7, so I don't know how far that is. So
I mean, if there are other Final Fantasy fans in there, I mean, I can't be the only one who thinks that's kind of shady. I mean, I can't imagine the Midgard section, only the Midgard section, taking up 2 full Blu-ray discs. That's a lot of space. And we've seen some pretty big games. I mean, we've seen GTA 5 and how much stuff they keep adding to that. So, I mean, I can't really picture that, especially from all they've shown. I mean, primarily, I mean, you already, if anybody who's played Final Fantasy VII, you know that that isn't a very significant, I mean, story-wise it's significant, but as a entire section, unless they're going to do a lot of padding out. Yeah, I mean there are going to be episodes for the DLC. It's going to be an episode, so disc 1 or I guess disc 1 and 2 is just going to be one section. Then the next DLC will be the next half of the story, and then so on and so forth. I don't know how it's going to be, but that's kind of how they said it was going to all pan out. And if you're wondering about the collector's edition price,
It's like $300, right? Yeah.
$330.
For what? Like, what do you get?
You get a steel book. You get a figure of Cloud with
On
his
the bike?
Sword, yeah, on the Buster Sword with his bike, and I'm not sure what else you get. I think you get a soundtrack too.
That's it? All right. So you're paying for the statue.
Yeah,
you're,
pretty much.
You're paying for the statue.
And there's I'm saying it now.
See? Yeah.
There's a Final Fantasy VIII remake.
Remastered.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
right.
said remake.
Not remake, but remaster. You're just prettying it up, right?
Yeah.
Again, means nothing to me because Final Fantasy was never anything. But I know a lot of Final Fantasy fans are very happy about that. Though apparently Final Fantasy is very divisive in the fan base.
I mean,
Some people say the story sucks.
I don't want to step on any toes here, but it wasn't. So, this was their. I mean, they've had romance in their games before. This is their attempt of really trying to go out there with the romance. So,
Okay.
it's not a terrible game. I mean, gameplay wise, you might like it more than the others, but I mean, it's not the significant entrance. I mean, it is. People like squalls.
Ryan, go to work, man. Don't get in trouble because of this, because of us two guys. Oh, for anyone asking too, I think it was Ernie who was asking. Frank was eating some Tina's burritos, red hot beef.
Red hot beef.
I hope they were cooked all right. I'm sorry.
They were. I definitely need to finish this.
But we're drinking some Shabin Brewing, which actually really cool. It's a can with the Super Nintendo controllers on it. It's got a weird name. It's like the Konami code. It's what's it called? It's called Downright Up Left YB. So
I thought it'd be appropriate to drink this on the stream since we're talking about games.
Imperial, no, absolutely, really awesome decision there, Frank. So Shabin is a company who's in Walcott, Connecticut. I'm not going to pretend to know where that is, but that's way up north in Connecticut. So, but yeah, really good choice. It's cool beer. Rax, Final Fantasy is divisive because the stories are also different. They don't appeal to everyone every single game. Snacking intensifies. That's stop talking about Final Fantasy. I'm late for work. Oh, go to work, man. Go to work.
Go to work. What are you doing?
All right, man. Don't get in trouble because of us. But
well, Rax, I do agree with you on that. I mean, each game, that's kind of the selling point of Final Fantasy. I mean, each game is so different from one another. I mean, you may hate this game, but the next one may be like, oh,
and they don't have any references to like previous games.
Well, 10 has a reference to 7. I mean, you know, you can meet a kid named Shinra, and guess what?
So that's more Easter eggs and not like canon.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's Final Fantasy. I mean, that's coming out. I still think that it's gonna be definitive on PS5. It'll be on PS4, but it'll be much like Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Came out on GameCube and Wii is the definitive version. Now again, definitive in quotes because I know people were bitching about what is it? And on Wii, Link was right-handed, and on the GameCube he's left-handed because he's supposed to be left-handed according to the story. So I don't know. Again, if it comes out, it has to come out on PS5. That's a given.
No, it will. But I'm just saying because before we were talking about this, saying that it's gonna launch on PS5 and all that. It's gonna not even come on the PS4. I'm like, well, if they were smart, because not everybody buys the consoles day one, there are going to be some people who will, but majority of their fan base is probably still going to be on PS4 because they got an MMO on that, and they have an MMO on PC. So the logical thing to do is say, all right, let's test the waters on PS4, and then see what we can do on the PS5 because we're releasing this in episodes, no less.
Yeah.
So if you want the pure definitive edition, well, you're going to have to hit the PS5 with all of them combined. So they're probably going to do it like that.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, right.
Have nothing set in stone. So
good question. So during Nintendo's Direct, they also announced a new Contra which I believe it's called Hardcore. So this is it looks like Cannon Spike for Dreamcast. It's like an not fully isometric, but isometric third-person shmup. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think. It looks way too different from what I know Contra to be for me. I'd have to see some gameplay. I only saw the reveal at the Nintendo Direct. I don't know. If it does play like Cannon Spike, that might work. Because Cannon Spike is a very fast and fluid game. But when I saw the trailer, it was like half of that. So I would have to see some hands-on footage and reserve my judgment. But it definitely is silly. So, you know, Contra, normally it's...
Very serious.
You got your Macho Man. Here there's like a panda cyborg. There's like a weeaboo-looking girl. So it's like, it's very silly.
Well, there was a game released on PS3. It was kind of like Contra. It was called Hardcore. It was called Hard Corps Uprising.
The one that looks like Guilty Gear, right? Now that is not technically a Contra game, but
they had some hand in it. So
yeah,
it's like
people consider it to be like a side game.
Yeah, they had some hand in that game. So, I mean, this kind of seems like a spiritual successor to that, even though that game was supposed to be the successor to Contra in some way, shape, or form, but didn't really sell that well.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they're still trying.
So going back to your question, Rax, I don't know what to think. I would have to see some hands-on footage. To me, right now, it seems to be Contra in name only. But I would, just from that trailer, I'd have to see actual footage and get more of an idea.
Hang on, wait. Look at that comment right there. Wasn't the Almighty Shang song enough? It's not just any Shang song. The Shang song from
the movie, yeah. Which I wish I could say his name, but yeah, that's really awesome that he's in there. But yeah,
soul is mine.
MK11, I mean, DLC. Considering they announced that, and they announced that they were going to release, like 4 other characters.
Yeah.
Ash from Evil Dead was rumored because you hear the chainsaw.
Which is fine. I mean, I think that's kind of cool. But the Terminator seems kind of weird.
So Terminator is Mortal Kombat? Because I know Terminator they announced for Gears of War.
They announced a lot of stuff.
Did you see that?
Yeah. So I mean, apparently, the Joker might be in it too. I mean, these are all leaks. I don't know if that's all.
Carrie, yeah. Well, Carrie's his first name, but yeah, he's got. You may remember him from Johnny Tsunami on the only movie on Disney Channel. The only movie I know of where he was a good guy. He's always a bad guy.
Yep.
And in that movie, he's a good guy. The only one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Johnny Tsunami. My sister was a huge fan of that movie. And it's funny because she was like, she's younger than me, so like she was watching Disney Channel. I'm like, what the hell's he doing in this movie? He's like a surfer dude, and he's like, what is this? You know? He has his movie outfit. Oh, does he?
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
So, you know the one thing, Efren, that I wish that they did? Because, you know, he does the, your soul is mine.
Oh, he does?
He does. But he should have been holding Liu Kang's brother. And he's like, Liu, just like in the movie, you know? That would have been the perfect way. But that's really cool.
He might have something like that.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just...
They didn't show us everything, so...
Does Mortal Kombat do like Street Fighter? Do they do specific win quotes for like specific characters?
They do specific intros for specific characters.
Not outros, though?
Not all the time.
That'd be cool. So if he beats Liu Kang and he does that, holds his brother from the movie, that would be cool. Liu! Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa. There it is. Awesome. You know what, Efren? I only played MK11 once on Switch, and I don't know what to think. I would have to give it some more dedicated time, but again, I know you followed all the games, but I kind of stopped after what was it, Deadly Alliance?
Yeah, I mean those games are still goofy, but they weren't Mortal Kombat.
To me, Mortal Kombat for me is 1, 2, Ultimate, and Trilogy.
See, to me, I'm just like, well, Mortal Kombat 2. The rest is kind of. When I played Trilogy on the Saturn at one time, I was like, okay, I can get down with this. When I played on the PS1, I'm like, whoa, man.
You know what though? It could be Paul's input lag. Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, this ain't real. You can't tell me that Mortal Kombat's this broken, because if it was, how would you even play it?
Yeah.
So Well, okay, setting Mortal Kombat aside for now, because we'll probably get back to that anyway.
Yeah. So let's talk about some other announcements they had.
So, what did you think of? Because I know you're a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. So
Oh yeah.
What did you think about Kakarot?
Okay, I'm not a fan of the name.
Yeah, the name is kind of strange. but,
Originally, it was called. I think it was just called Project Z.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that
Yeah.
over Kakarot. Okay, so from what I saw, and I don't know if they've showed like actual gameplay footage during the E3 show floor, but it looks to be kind of like there was a game on PS2 and Xbox, Sagas,
Yeah.
which was
It's not like
which was
Saga.
kind of like an open world-ish
Oh,
exploring
man, that
game,
was-
but with fighting game mechanics thrown in. That's the vibe I'm getting. That it's like a hub world type of thing, kind of like
Right.
Xenoverse.
Mhm.
But again, it's like how many times are we going to fight Frieza and the Dragon Ball Z? So this is something that Paul Frank mentioned the other day. Why don't they do Dragon Ball?
Because
They did it on the DS. They did it
Yeah.
on the Wii.
King Piccolo and all that other stuff. I mean, every time they release something Dragon Ball related, you have to go out of your way and find it.
Mhm.
But if it's Dragon Ball Z,
It's everywhere.
it's everywhere. It's gonna be on here. It's gonna be
Yo,
on
what up,
there.
Krusty?
What's up, Krusty?
What's going on? We're talking E3, my man. Thank you for stopping by. Apologies for the shitty audio quality.
Yeah,
This mic, I'm gonna have to look into what's going on. It's something on my end. I'm a goof for not testing this stuff out before, but I'm using the webcam mic, so it's a little tinny. Apologies for that. But yeah, so as I said with that game, I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Because I was telling you before we were discussing this. Because I was thinking, okay, if it's called Kakarot, it's supposed to go through his story and all that. I mean, eventually you're gonna play as other characters, but I would think with a name like that,
You'd be going from when he's a
Yeah.
kid and then grow up with him, right?
yeah, that would be an amazing game.
They've only
You
shown
know?
Z stuff, so
Because, I mean, how many Dragon Ball or just pure Dragon Ball fans would love to go through his entire story like that?
yeah.
There hasn't, not to my knowledge, but there hasn't really been a game like that.
So Efren mentioned they did show gameplay. It looks kind of like Xenoverse. So if it's like Xenoverse, then why release another one? I don't understand.
Oh, I mean, it's kind of got the Xenoverse vibe to it. I mean, the graphics are better, I'll give them that. I mean, it doesn't look all blocky. Well, not blocky, but just, you know how in Xenoverse they look really smooth for some odd reason? They kind of look like
Yeah.
rubber.
hmm
This one, it looked more defined. You can see, like, on your post right there, they kind of have all the lines and all the
Yeah, the
edges,
shading and all that. Yeah,
shading.
I think
It looks nice.
from a visual aesthetic, Fighter Z is as good as it'll get. Once you start going into the pure 3D realm, it just gets harder and harder to replicate that drawn style. Even though I will say there was one game that I think did it well, Burst Limit.
Yeah,
Burst
I was
Limit.
thinking the same thing.
Burst Limit, I think, did really well. Unfortunately, I guess the game didn't sell,
It
and they
was
only,
it was supposed to be like a beta or something because
Yeah.
they wanted to release eventually release Budokai, like a spiritual successor to Budokai,
Mhm.
and put it on the PS3 and all the others, but apparently that didn't go well.
and then they went to
and-
Raging Blast,
which I think
which is Budokai,
yeah,
but worse.
yeah.
So yeah, Burst Limit. If you've never seen that, Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit came out for 360, PS3. I think that's as good currently as how translating that 2D to 3D.
Mhm.
I think it was good. But again, that game only focused on Z. So I think I'm in agreement with Frank. If you were to make a game now, enough Z, it's the 30th anniversary of Dragon Ball. Let's start talking about the origins.
Yeah. I
You know?
mean, like I said before, it'd be a great idea for us to start off with Kid Goku, go through all the stuff in that, and you know, there hasn't really been, to my knowledge, a game where you go from Kid Goku all the way to Z. You don't have, I mean, you don't have to go to GT, I guess. I mean, you know, some people don't consider that canon. I mean, even the creator kind of likes to forget all about it.
So actually, Rax, you were asking, Burst Limit is this one here.
Yeah. If you got it day one, you got a free movie with it. I believe it was either World's Strongest or Dead Zone.
Nope, it's season 1, episodes 1 through 7.
Oh,
So
that must have been on the 360 version.
This, I think, is the best 3D looking attempt at taking the 2D Dragon Ball
Yeah,
Z.
that must have been Xbox 360 only then. 'Cause,
Maybe it might have been
yeah, because
platform.
Because on PS3 you got a movie. You got
So
a
then
strong
this
story.
one got really good critical acclaim, but it didn't sell well. So what happened is after
They went
Raging
to-
Blast, which is Tenkaichi Budokai, pretty much. Very
But-
cell shaded.
But you notice how it's cell shaded and they look very rubbery, right? They don't really have that, I don't know how to really put it.
It just seems flat. It just seems flat. Yeah.
They kind of feel like clay when you're hitting them.
Oh, my bad, Rax. I'm assuming. I'm sorry. But yeah, if no one's played it before, it's worth a shot. I think it had really good cutscenes.
Yeah.
And actually, the fighting was really good too, because this was Dimps. So Dimps did Street Fighter 4, right?
Yeah, they did Street Fighter 4. They also helped make some of the Budokai games, so
Okay.
that's where the gameplay comes in. The only difference is when you hit somebody in the air now, it does a little cutscene. You see them flying up in the air. They tried to get that from the shows and whatnot. So they had something going there. I mean, it was, like I said, it was for a beta attempt at what they were going to do later on. It was a really good idea, but I guess some of the licensing and you can see Atari's on there, so of course we're not going to get another one of those.
Yeah,
'cause the Atari kind of went under. I mean, it's sad. I wish they would go back to that or just at least try something close to that. But I just think the future is Fighter Z.
Yeah, I mean, for the foreseeable future, that's it. But anyways, on another subject, so you asked me about Dragon Ball. I guess what can I ask you about? Did you see? Was it announced during E3 the DOA stuff with the KOF characters, or was that?
Yes and no. They kind of had their own thing where they announced it a little ahead of time, and then they announced it later on again. So Sega and Tecmo have had some history together.
I was trying to refresh the GameSpot feed because it crashed, I guess. But as you were saying,
Sega and Tecmo have had a pretty good relationship together. I believe.
that's my cousin.
Oh.
She's called me. I
mean-
called it.
I mean, as you know, so Virtua Fighter, helped inspire a lot of the 3D fighters out there, and one of the creators of Dead or Alive had their inspiration from that game. So as you know, in Dead or Alive, they had the Virtua Fighter characters in there and whatnot.
That was in DOA 5, right?
Yeah.
They had Akira and was it Pam, right?
They had
Pi,
Sarah, and all that.
Okay.
And again, it was Sega. So I'm noticing a trend here with them because, okay, when Sega touched something, Tecmo gets it as well. Sega touched KOF. Guess what? We have Mai. Okay, Mai's not in DOA 6. I guess they're not, doing anything together anymore. Oh wait, Mai and now Kula Diamond.
Now
They're gonna-
Kula, yeah.
So I mean, I guess they're going to be working together a lot more now, and who knows, maybe Shinobi. I mean, that'd be way too out there,
Well, who knows at this point? Yeah. So that's interesting. Okay, so Efren, you're talking about the Avengers game. I know that's a Square Enix title.
Yeah.
So I didn't see the trailer for that.
I believe they're publishing.
Is this a RPG? Is this an action game? What type of genre is it?
Have you ever played Ultimate Alliance? Or
I did. So that's kind of like Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Never mind. It's just a top down. You're just hack and slash.
I'm guessing it's going to be like that. I mean, I don't see why they would change it.
Now they did announce the Ultimate Alliance, but that's only on Switch, right? Ultimate Alliance 3.
Yeah, that seems very
So is
odd.
that why? Because Switch is only getting that, Square Enix is doing it for everyone else? Maybe? Is it maybe?
I mean, are we going to get it on any other consoles? Or
Well, it's Square Enix, so yeah, it has to be multi-plat, But the Ultimate Alliance is not Square Enix. That's Ultimate Alliance. Who was doing that before? That was Activision. I
Oh, we're
believe.
talking about it. Yeah, Avengers is doing
The
it.
Avengers
Yeah.
game from Square Enix. Yeah, he said it looks like Spider-Man PS4.
Okay.
So it's like a
That's not too
third-person action game. Okay.
Okay.
Now, are the
I actually kinda like
characters?
Spider-Man on PS4.
Do the characters look like the MCU versions, or do they look like the comic book versions of the characters? That's
I believe they're more like the MCU version because I saw a Cap with MCU outfit and he didn't have the little wings.
The wings?
Yeah, the wings are like kind of painted on instead. So
Okay. They showed gameplay of Hulk and Iron Man. Okay. Is it Smart Hulk with the glasses or like Savage Hulk?
it's probably Savage. We're not gonna get that again.
No,
I mean, if we're
It's
gonna get Smart Hulk, it's got to be with the same voice. It's got to be.
got to be Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, it's got to be Mark Ruffalo. Hey,
Hulk dad, I mean, hey, people can hate on that.
That was awesome, man.
I loved it because again, I know that Hulk. Well, he didn't do that in the comics, but there was Professor Hulk, so that was whatever. Endgame spoilers. I mean, if you haven't seen that, shame on you. But Raps, what do you boys think about Shinji Mikami's new game Ghostwire? So I had heard a headline about this, but I actually didn't see the trailer for it.
It sounds promising, at least. I mean, I'll give it a shot. I'll try it out.
So Mikami's last game was Evil Within 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know, Rax, you really liked those games. Funny story, I went to Goodwill and I found Evil Within 2 on PC sealed for $2. So
Yeah.
I have it. I just haven't played Evil Within 1. But it's Shinji Mikami. I'm going to go on a blind jump and say that his style is good. It's Resident Evil 1, 2, 3 Code Veronica. And well, actually 4 I think was the last game he messed with.
Yeah, he's the reason why this series got revived in the first place.
Yeah, so I will look at it eventually, but I have not had a chance to see it just yet.
So
I'm still waiting though because
a
he
quick
didn't cut off his head. He didn't cut off his head.
No.
Because I remember he infamously said, if Resident Evil 4 ends up on any other console outside of GameCube, cut my head off. What happened, Shinji, huh? You didn't follow through, buddy.
Yeah, there was a PS2 version, letterboxed. But so about that, just a quick warning about the first game on PC. Horribly optimized. That's
I heard they fixed it though after about a year.
They did fix it, but you're probably gonna need some other mods and whatnot to help you out. So, kind of the only reason why. It
Okay,
did so
Efren, cool.
poorly. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So don't mind me if I'm looking to my left. So I'm watching GameSpot's coverage, and I have it muted, but they're showing Polymega on screen. So that's the controller. I guess the stock one, but the whole thing is you're able to plug in the actual console's controller too. So the Polymega is another thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. So this is a Kickstarter campaign. It was. So it's a console, much like the Retron, but this, when you buy it, the base system, it's a CD-based one. You pop in PS1, PS2, Saturn, Sega CD, TurboGrafx CD, Neo Geo CD, and it accepts all of them. Now, the whole idea behind it is it's modular. So if you want to start adding cartridges, they do offer like a separate Genesis expansion cart, NES expansion cart, Famicom expansion cart.
Yeah, Krusty, I'm the same way. So
they're actually showing it on GameSpot right now, a live demo. So if you want to go to GameSpot's coverage.
Here's the problem.
On paper, it sounds amazing.
On paper, it sounds amazing, but I'm not gonna get too nerdish about this or anything. Just gonna be quick. The biggest problem I see right there. How are you gonna get Neo Geo CD plus all that other stuff? Because Neo Geo CD, Saturn's already like ridiculous to get to work on its own.
Yeah, emulation is notorious for being difficult. So they're showing the menu right here. This is the interface. So you have NES, PAL, SNES, and you have Saturn games, PS1, Neo Geo, hard drive. So you don't have to pop in the disc every time. Look, you have Children of the Atom for Saturn. One, that sounds illegal as hell. Like you're ripping the ROM, and it'll read the ROM, and then boot up whatever appropriate
like you
emulator.
Said before, this is emulation, correct?
It is, yeah.
So, to my knowledge, a Neo Geo CD EMU, that's already risky and very buggy to no end.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, so let's say it does work, right? Not every game works properly with it.
There are known issues. Yeah, known games that don't
Last
work.
Blade, it historically has tons of issues. you would think, okay, it's going to load faster because it's an IMU, right? No, it ends up taking the same amount of time because you take the whole thing from.
So they're
Neo
showing,
Geo
I
CD.
guess they're going to boot up Samurai Showdown 2.
Hmm.
So, on paper, right, for me, and maybe Frank, maybe this is your situation as well, I'm in a tiny room. This is my room. It's tiny.
Yeah, like
So
for me,
I
for me,
don't-
this would be amazing.
I don't have the
because-
luxury of having like a big setup with every console individually plugged in. I don't have that. So on paper, so right now they're booting up Samurai Showdown Neo Geo CD. So
So this
You-
this is a good choice. Samurai Showdown does work properly with most emus. So
look at how fast the loading is. So the emulation is dramatically bumping up the load times.
that could be a problem though, because they're not made to run that fast.
Yeah.
So this
So
may
for
work. I mean,
me,
it-
somebody who's
may-
with limited space, the idea of something like the Polymega would be great. It's this all-in-one. You still buy the physical games, but you put them in the system and then play them from that through HDMI, and apparently you could do
Hey, Tom Acoustic.
scan lines. Why not just download emulators on your PC? Well, some people would rather play it on the big screen on their TV, through HDMI. Some people may not have a decent enough PC to run those emulators because, again, depending on the console you're looking to emulate, some of them do require some beefy specs, like the Saturn, the Dolphin emulator for GameCube, Xbox. Some of them do require some pretty good CPUs. So the idea of the Polymega, and I keep pointing to what I'm looking at. You guys aren't seeing it, but it's in theory something that it's an all-in-one solution, right? Francis, hey Francis, how you doing, man? Thank
Hey,
you for
Francis.
stopping by.
What's up?
So we're just chatting E3 right now. We're talking about the Polymega because GameSpot is doing a live demonstration of it right now, and they're showing Neo Geo CD emulation. So again, on paper, sounds amazing, and it's customizable. It's modular. That's great, but people, and as Frank mentioned before, we talked about it a little bit before we went live. What initially the Polymega was going to be, it was going to have the actual chips in the motherboard for every system. So it would be much like popping in an EverDrive. You would be playing games, but on actual hardware. Now it's software emulation. So.
Again, that's a display copy. Who knows what they put into that thing? But Samurai Showdown 2, I mean, perfectly safe game to choose. It works pretty much on anything almost. Now, I would have been even more surprised or a bit more skeptical if they put on Last Blade, because Last Blade
is notorious for having issues.
it always has issues, and again, those games are not made to load that fast. So
Right now it looks like he's looking to pop in another game. So for Francis, when is Watch Dogs Legion coming out? I don't know, but I can Google it for you real quick. I actually didn't see Ubisoft's
I didn't see a
conference.
release date on that at all. I was trying to look it up. Oh,
So,
there it is, March
according-
6,
March
2020.
March 6, 2020 is what Google is spitting out. That could be accurate, it could not be, but next year for sure.
You're correct, Rusty. All we can do is see just how good the enemies are.
So now I assume it's Saturn he's doing now, because I saw Sega.
Saturn's another hard one. I mean, we just figured
Virtua
out.
Fighter 2, yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been so recent that we just figured out how to really properly do this. So,
No, why? I mean, these games always have delays. I mean, I don't think Watch Dogs 3 was ever meant to come out this year. So that seems to be the year. Next year, March is what they want to do. So coming out this year, looks like it's not, man. Sorry. I played a little bit of Watch Dogs 1, but I never sat down and played through all of
you
it.
see the time thing moving? Kind
The Witch?
of? Time right there.
It's moving? Like how so?
I don't know if that. I mean, it had a little bit of blur on it, but.
Oh, well, keep in mind this is a stream,
Yeah.
and it's not running at the actual frame rate. Virtua Fighter 2 is a 60 frame per second game, so I'm watching this on my Amazon Fire Stick, so if I were to watch it on the computer, it would probably be running at 60 frames. But
Okay, I mean,
so that's the base console on the middle there. That's the actual Polymega. Now I'm assuming the things on the right and left are the modular expansions you can pop in. Because if you look at the right, it's the Saturn style controller, and on the left, it looks like it's SNES.
so I'm assuming the one that they got, and I could be wrong. This could be just me speculating way too hard on this, but I mean they've shown 2 fighting games, so you already know me. I'm a snob when it comes to fighting games. In all honesty, the display they could be showing right now, it could be just a beefed up version of the one that they couldn't make, but they just had one available.
For the show, yeah, maybe. I
mean,
yeah,
it
who
could
knows?
just be a super beefy one.
Hmm.
I mean, if anything, it could be it could be something that actually does work, but it's going to end up costing a crap ton of money just to get it all to properly work the way we've seen it just now.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible. I just can't see you doing it cheaply.
Yeah.
There's no way that's going to be cheap. So in other words, they probably did this in a way for them to save money so that they can develop stuff for the other ones individually, so it won't cost so much.
You know what the thing is too, with the Saturn, because it's emulation, it has the megabyte, the RAM expansions, all that.
I can't imagine Smups and all the other ones that go from Polygon to straight up sprites. I can't imagine those working properly on that either.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be glitches, right?
Yeah, there's gonna be something. So.
Francis, Star Wars Fallen Order. I believe when they announced it at the EA Play, they mentioned this year. So if it's going to be this year, it's going to be holiday. Don't quote me. I would say November. Sometime around Thanksgiving is usually when they want to release the big movies. Because again, Star Wars will be December.
December. Yeah.
So
are you going to see that?
I mean, I've seen all of the other ones, so yeah, why not? I mean, at this point, I'm obligated, just like Dark Phoenix. They were just showing the boxes with the controllers.
Oh, okay.
But again, the game, there's a possibility that it could be delayed last second. So, it's on your birthday. All right.
Oh,
again,
nice.
Just going by the general trend with video game systems or companies that want to release something for the holiday season. So it'll be like a week or two before Thanksgiving.
Or right around the corner from the movie,
Yeah. It has to be within a month of the movie, so.
Who knows? Maybe EA might actually, deliver. I mean, who knows? I put my foot in my mouth. You know what I mean?
Efren, Keanu Reeves, Cyberpunk 2077. All right.
That was my highlight right there.
So that was a really cool thing with the Microsoft show. Not because the game, but just because Keanu Reeves it was kind of like a genuine moment. He came out in the crowd. He looked genuinely happy to be there. Like, because, sometimes you have actors, celebrities who show up for E3.
They're not really feeling it.
They're phoning it in. They're reading off a teleprompter. Now, Keanu was reading off a teleprompter, but he was
just having fun.
He looked having fun, yeah. Like, there was that one guy who was like, "You're awesome," and he's like, "You're awesome." So it's like he was happy to be there. It didn't feel forced. Unlike, like, let's say if you watch EA and there's a Madden and there's a quarterback, he's like, "Oh, Madden's awesome. I play Madden all the time." Like, no, it's genuine. So Keanu felt genuine. So, and all these stories are coming out. Keanu Reeves is like the nicest guy in the world. So that's giving CD Projekt Red all this extra publicity. People who would probably never even play the game, it's on their radar now because Keanu Reeves is endorsing it.
So now we're talking about CD Projekt Red. What do you think on the amazing and revolutionary
Witcher 3 on Switch?
It's revolutionary. It's the future.
Do you know what they just announced today? So they announced that the game, when you're playing in handheld mode,
it's going to be
540p.
540p.
When you dock it, it'll be running at 720p.
Oh man, that's the future, baby.
The future is now, baby. I mean, again, I don't mean to mock Switch players.
Sorry.
If you're a Switch owner who has never played The Witcher, then this is probably a great way to play it.
Oh no, The Witcher is amazing.
But where I'm coming from, CD Projekt Red, ever since Witcher 2, their Witcher games have been the benchmark. Well, one of the benchmarks for PC gaming, especially Witcher 3, is an amazing looking game if you have the proper hardware. So on the Switch, you're not getting that experience. Now again, some people say the gameplay transcends graphics, right?
Mhm.
And yes, that is true. But it's kind of like if you were to take Crysis and then play it on Xbox Original or 360. It's like, why? Because that game was meant to be a tech demo. That's a visual tech demo. And you're playing it on something that's neutering it in every possible way. But again, if you've never played The Witcher and you want to, this is like your gateway entry point into it, then so be it. Give it a whirl. Hopefully, resolution aside, hopefully the frame rate is solid. That's the only thing I could ask
I kind
for.
of do agree with Krusty. I mean, as much as you just said and how heartfelt that was, I think Witcher 3 on the Switch probably isn't the best fit.
Hmm.
I mean,
It's all about
I-
the graphics. Yeah, I would say so.
I would like this. Don't get me wrong, The Witcher does have a nice story and everything. The gameplay is just fine. It's just, I'd imagine a lot of people, like a good friend of ours named Doug, right? He likes to take his Switch out and go and all that. He's always on the move. He's gonna want to play Witcher, and I can't imagine a smooth frame rate for The Witcher of all games.
Yeah, because
On
it's
the
so
go.
open. Yeah.
People play their Switches on the go. Like when they come over to our house or when they come over to Paul's house, they have their Switch. They're playing it right there on the go. They're just playing it.
You have a point, Francis. Keanu isn't known as being a voice actor, but he has done voices because he's doing Toy Story 4. There was a movie he did called A Scanner Darkly, which he pretty much did voice over work for that. So it's not entirely new for him. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I'm not expecting Keanu to blow. Keanu works best when he's subdued. That's his thing, right? If he's not overacting, if he's subdued and like reserved, that's when he works
Why do
best.
you think John Wick was so good? It's
Because
so over the
he's
top.
so reserved, but his character's reserved.
It's so reserved that it's over the top.
Certain games are just better suited to it. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree, Krusty. But again, for people who haven't played Witcher 3, I haven't played it, but I'm like 8 years behind on games, which is why you fucking see me play Brutal Doom 64, because I'm just now catching up to that. So, but for the people who are more modernly attuned to games, yeah, and you haven't played it on PC or the other consoles, then
Hey, rookie.
Switch is a great way to do it. Oh, that's Ryan Pliskin. We're just talking some more. We're just talking about Witcher 3 right now on Switch. They were just showing the Polymega on the GameSpot stream, which we're kind of like looking at, but that ended up right now. We're just talking. You guys are throwing in some topics here, so we appreciate it. I told Frank going in, I'm not expecting anybody to watch this. This is just more just like shoot the breeze, but it's cool that you guys are throwing in your own chimes and whatnot and all that good stuff. Efren, I don't own a Switch, but I might just buy one for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Is that only on Switch? Is that what? That's not not a DS game?
I think it's only on Switch. I
Really?
believe so.
Okay. So wait, it's two separate games, or it's Sword and Shield is one game?
I think it's two separate games. I think you have to get a.
Okay, wait a
Yeah,
minute, wait a
right,
minute,
yeah.
wait a minute. I understand that for the portable consoles.
Yeah, but I don't know. You know what I mean? This is kind of what they do for Pokemon games because
On a home system, I don't agree with splitting it up into two.
that's just what they do, man.
That's
That's
just what they do. And Nintendo
There's two
can
different
get away
ones,
with it.
Yeah.
Nintendo can get away
Only
with it.
Nintendo.
Oh, actually, Rookie Collector.
It's
Yeah,
okay
Ryan.
when Nintendo does it, right?
Yeah. Ryan, great question. Battletoads trailer, yeah. So during Microsoft's press conference, they did show off a new trailer for Battletoads. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw it.
Okay.
I didn't like the art.
I know. I think the art, maybe I don't know if you agree. It reminds me of Newgrounds.com, Flash games. That's what it looks like to me. It looks sloppy. It looks like a 15-year-old drew it.
Oh, hey, Foxhound. How you doing?
What's up, Foxhound? It didn't look like it flows well. It looked way too childish.
Yeah.
Even though Battletoads was silly,
It was a
it
silly.
was still
Remember,
hardcore.
did you remember the cartoon?
Yes, I do.
Oh no.
But this
I thought
doesn't
the other ones
look
watch
like that. This looks like if the Steven Universe guy attempted to draw Battletoads. You know?
He attempted to draw a Thundercat.
Thundercat, that's a whole other, yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. And
so I don't know if Ernie is still in here, I think he might have went to go get food by now, because I was gonna bring up since I'm a huge Souls fan, and you're obviously you're.
Oh yeah, you wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, you're a huge Game of Thrones fan, so I see this as a crossing over of sorts. So, what do you think about Elden Ring?
So I haven't seen a lot about it. I've seen very quick snippets of what the announcement trailer was. So I guess the way I see it on paper.
Oh, congratulations to Foxhound on being an uncle.
Oh wow, Foxhound! I know you mentioned your
Congrats.
sister, right? Congrats, dude. That's awesome. Congrats on being an uncle, man. Hopefully you get to partake in your nephew or niece's life, and from one uncle to another. They changed my life in many positive ways. So I'm sure it'll do the same for you. So congrats. But as I was saying, on paper, the game, the meeting of the two, George R.R. Martin and Miyazaki, sounds great. Now, is it going to retain the Souls style?
So from what I've been reading in an interview, it's going to have the same open world Souls style game. You're not going to be named anybody. You're pretty much going to name yourself and all that. Just the lore aspects and all that. That's going to be done by him and Miyazaki. So I guess what you expect in Game of Thrones, the dark kind of lore and all that, you're going to get it here. Miyazaki also does dark lore, so I mean, it just seems like, from what I'm hearing, okay, they're not going too far out of their way, I guess. So I was afraid that was going to become much more, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so the one thing I would be afraid of is, now this works for Dark Souls. It works, the lore is all in the background. It's all things that you observe. Like you're walking, you see a rock. Why is the rock there? Oh, well, there's a story behind that rock.
There's a story behind that rock. It's not just
But
there.
it's only there if you look for it. And if you pay attention to dialogue from NPCs. Or if you look at the descriptions of your weapons or things you pick up.
Because somebody's going to mention the rock, you just got to pay attention.
Now, George R.R. Martin, on the other hand, he's all about dialogue. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the Souls games, to me, I believe, are pretty light on actual dialogue. It's
the
more
dialogue
about,
is more abstract.
it's obtuse, right? Yeah. And George R.R. Martin is all about, like Quentin Tarantino, we're talking. So that would be like his style. That's his exposition style, people talking. Dark Souls, it's more you observe things in the environment in the background, and that's your exposition. That's your lore.
So I can see this working because, so a lot of you, I don't know how many of you have played Sekiro. Sekiro, a lot of people try to deem it a Souls game. It was actually, Miyazaki did have some hand in it. It was actually made by the people who made the Tenchu series. So most of that came from there. Did you enjoy that?
I did.
Yeah.
Did you want to switch it up, or do you want to have the next one?
You want to switch it up now? Or,
Did you want to try the sour?
sure, let's try this out.
I didn't mean to break up the conversation. As you were, Frank. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Popping up my cooler of beer.
so we've seen them do direct dialogue. So, I mean, it seems to flow just nicely. I mean, Sekiro is much more focused on you talking to them or, NPCs talking to each other. It's
Okay.
much more focused that way.
Okay.
So people seem to enjoy that a lot. I enjoyed it. I don't think this. At first, I was very skeptical. Like, oh no way, they can't do that because they're gonna spoon feed you the story. But from what I'm reading in this interview between the two, it doesn't seem like that at all, really.
Actually, Foxhound, congrats, dude. Cheers to you for being an uncle. And cheers to all of you crazy folks for listening to us two boring old men talk about video games.
Yeah, seriously. What's wrong with you guys? But we appreciate the gesture.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Cheers, shout out to Dan Unger for getting this for me. He was a nice guy.
Sour, huh?
It is a sour. This is the Sweet Quench Ale Session Sour. Technically a ghost, but ghost and sour is the same thing. I will, for Rax's sake, I will not delve into it.
Okay. You can tell me all about it later.
So this is a session. It's meant to be lighter. It is sour. You got that lemon. You got that lime.
It's
Kinda
not
like-
too bad. I mean, I can get used to it.
Kind of like a, you know what it tastes like to me? It's like a Pinot Grigio. It's kind of like a white wine.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
Yep, cool.
But anyways, let me catch up here. So we were talking about that. So again, I'm optimistic to see what may become of that. But it'll be interesting to see actual like gameplay, like a good 20-minute run, and see what happens there.
So, from what I was reading, Foxhound, we're old.
Absolutely.
There's no helping us, man. Thanks, but
So I had a glass, but I'm not going to be running out in the middle of the stream to clean this out, get the appropriate glassware. So I did it for the heavy duty beer because
that's a double.
this was a double. This is
I-
9%.
I kept an eye out because I know Oliver
This-
does like this.
This
double.
is a session, so sessions are usually
It's light.
4.5%. So it's light. If it's a lighter beer, I'm not going to be pouring glassware for it. So, anyways, so Rax had a question too. Rax had a really good question. Did you guys see the Arcade 1-Up cap for Star Wars? So, Arcade
I
1-Up,
actually didn't see
they
that.
announced that today. So, what Arcade 1-Up, for those of you who don't know, they've been releasing for the past 2 years affordable budget arcade cabinets for people. So they released Street Fighter. They had released Pac-Man, Space Invaders. A couple months ago, they released Mortal Kombat. They released Final Fight. So for
I can't
E3,
believe that guy got Mortal Kombat, man.
for E3, they announced Ninja Turtles. So there is a 4-player. This is the first of their kind because it's always been 2 players up to this point. A 4-player Ninja Turtles arcade game that has Ninja Turtles as well as Turtles in Time. So that'll be coming out in August, is
Now,
what
that
they
would
said.
be, no, that would be good for retro. We have to get that.
That'll be
for sure.
$350. There is also a Marvel one, which is Marvel Superheroes, X-Men: Children of the Atom, and The Punisher, which is a great beat 'em up.
It is.
Now,
I
would
believe he goes up against the Kingpin, right?
yeah, at the very end.
Yep.
Now, would I have thrown it in that bundle? No, I think it would have fit more with the Final Fight because that's a beat 'em up. I would have preferred them to throw in Marvel's Capcom. Now, going on to what Rax was saying, today they announced Star Wars, which is the Atari games from the 70s.
Is
So I
that
think
the space shooter one or
yeah, but not the one from Sega. It's the
Pilot Fighter one?
it's the Atari one, the one that was like wireframe looking
Oh, that
from
one.
the 70s and from the
well,
80s.
wasn't it like the? It was a Starfighter one.
Yeah, it's like a first-person cockpit
It's just
view.
that you're in the cockpit.
I
and
think
you
it
have
has-
all the wire frames out there, and you shoot down
It's
the twin fighters.
yeah. So it has I think 2 or 3 games. Star Wars, pretty sure Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, the arcade equivalents. That's cool for people who really like those games. I respect them. I prefer, me personally, the Sega ones. There's Star Wars Trilogy Arcade, which was like a like House of the Dead, but with Star Wars. That one was awesome. But they also announced cocktail cabs. So cocktail cabs are sit-down cabs, which are like they're like these mini tables, joysticks on each side.
Mm-hmm.
So they announced one Capcom fighting games, Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2, Hyper Fighting, Darkstalkers,
Ooh. Ooh.
Final Fight, Strider, Ghosts and Goblins, 1944, The Loop Master,
Whoa, 1994.
and something else. I may be missing something. So there's that. They haven't given a date for it yet. I don't think they've given a price.
Darkstalkers 19 sounds very tempting.
But I think it's the first. It's just the original Darkstalkers.
I
Now
don't
this.
have a problem with that.
Now, this was rumored back at CES in the beginning of the year, the Consumer Electronics Show. There was photos snapped of a cocktail cab, but it had those games, but it also had Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2.
Oh my god.
It had Marvel's Capcom 1 and 2. So either they didn't get the rights for those games, or they're going to be releasing subsequent versions of it with different games.
I don't think. So I can see Marvel vs. Capcom. I don't see SNK though, because those two. I won't say that they're not talking right now, but it's like SNK is more like, well.
No, I'm old, man, old.
Yeah, we're old, but SNK seems more like, yeah, we're trying to actually build our reputation. If we start talking with Capcom, especially when it comes to fighting games, that won't do us any favors.
Yeah.
So And plus, since SNK is doing a joint project with Sony, not Sony, well, yeah, they are doing a joint project with Sony and Sega. I don't know if that's actually going to happen because you got to go through Sega to get to SNK. And then the history behind Capcom and SNK, it's not particularly rocky, but it's been like, well, you do what we say and then you all become successful. Well, we did what you said and we didn't become successful, and, you know, forget you guys. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of been like that. They have a friendly kind of rivalry, but I don't see them teaming up together anytime soon until Capcom kind of pulls their fighting game section out of the grave. So, I don't know if that'll happen.
There was another cocktail cab. I don't remember what was in it, but I know there was the one with the fighting games. But as you're saying, Rax, the Star Wars one, really cool that you're doing it. Not for me personally, but I know there's going to be a market for that, so that's really awesome. Oh yeah, Francis, Lego Star Wars, they did announce that they're doing Skywalker Saga, so that's all 9 episodes in one game.
Wow, okay.
So that's coming out December, just in time for the movie.
Whoever likes Legos.
I mean, again, it's a different market, not us per se, but for kids, great little fun platformer. So,
I agree, Foxhound. I do want that.
Deathloop, the guys who made Dishonored are making a game called Deathloop. Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't see the trailer for that though. I played Dishonored 1. I enjoyed it. Was it
Never played 2.
I never played 2. Never got around to it.
Still have Dishonored 1.
Dishonored 1 I enjoyed. Was it as amazing as everyone said it was when it came out? I wouldn't say so.
It's an experience, I'll give you that.
It's fun.
It's
It's
definitely...
It didn't blow my mind or
It
anything.
didn't blow my mind, but it definitely did break up the monotony. It wasn't what I expected it to be, but would I ever go back to it? Probably. I mean, it's a cool game. I'll give them that. It's a
Ryan
very
with
cool
the
game.
hard hitting questions. How about the reveal of Paul's Worst Nightmare, an Avengers game starring Nolan North and Troy Baker? He doesn't even know who they are, so that wouldn't be his worst nightmare. But it is Squeenix, so that would be his worst nightmare. I mentioned it to him, and he kind of blew it off.
So Ryan, he kind of he said, "Oh wow, I guess they're doing it too," as if Square Enix hasn't been selling out for years now.
Yeah, because of him, Squeenix can do no wrong.
So you kind of have to just take it as it is. I mean, he knows that Square Enix isn't as great as they used to be. He's a fanboy. I mean, that's all you. That's what it comes down to. Fanboys are fanboys. So
That is true. That is true.
that's you can't reason with a fanboy. That's just what they love. So
Francis, questions. Should I sub? That's entirely up to you, Francis.
There's no right answer to that.
I'm not a channel. I'm not a personality. You honestly would be better off subbing to Rax the Great because he actually churns out like quality videos. I'm only doing this initially. The reason why I did it was to use this microphone. Of course, the microphone ended up conking out for whatever reason, so I had to use this.
You gotta get this thing to work.
I gotta get it to work, but it worked good for a couple minutes. But yeah, I mean, I play games, but I'm not a YouTube personality. You know, I'm not looking for fame or glory. I just do it because I'm on the computer. I have free time. I get to click a button and do it. It's easy. It's entirely up to you, Francis. I mean, I do try when people do comment. I try to keep you guys involved. You know, I don't want you guys to feel like you're just typing in comment and I'm not acknowledging you. That is disrespectful. So entirely up to you. Meme King. Oh my God, Meme King. That was from RGA.
Really?
RGA streams.
Oh wow.
He's not writing in the chat though.
Oh okay.
But wow, Meme King. That's amazing. Meme King was the gentleman who would talk French
I see.
on the chat. Canadian. He's from Canada.
All right.
What up, Meme King? If you're lurking. But Dishonored was solid, but not spectacular, says Krusty. I agree. Efren, it's like two assassins trying to kill each other, and then when they kill each other, they just restart. Oh, Deathloop. Okay.
Mr. Foxhound says Square lost my respect with Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Dissidia NT. Well,
That's
I
your
mean-
turf. I have no idea what that means.
Oh,
Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay.
yeah. So
Dissidia is what? Fighting game?
Dissidia is kind of like Arena Fighter, where you get all the Final Fantasy characters. Personally, I'm willing to give them one last shot because 15, it's not entirely their fault. I mean, the creator of 13 decided to make way too many games based off his waifu as Lightning, you know. He made 3 games. It was supposed to end at 13 and then go to Versus 13 and Agito 13 and all that. It was supposed to be a trilogy.
Okay.
But they ended up pushing back 13 Versus, which is 15 now. They pushed it back so many times, the game ended up, you know, the game could have been so much more, but yeah, I mean, long story short, it could have been so much more. They got a new developer. The developer couldn't do everything in time, so the game ended up not being what everybody expected. DLC hit it one after another. You already heard my story on this when Final Fantasy had a DLC that locked story content and legendary bosses behind a paywall. I said no, that's stupid. You get it? Because, I mean, certain bosses always appear in Final Fantasy games. If I have to pay for that, it's not worth it. It's not a Final Fantasy game. It's something else. It's trash.
Okay.
So that's just
There you
my
go.
opinion.
That's the breakdown. I wouldn't pretend to chime in because I'd be talking total bullshit because I don't know about any of that. But let's see here. Ryan says, that being said, the trailer looks okay, I guess. Too many set pieces. I'm not sure which game that's referring to. The Avengers game for Squeenix. Okay.
Also, Ryan, I can't talk about Kingdom Hearts in detail like that. I mean, some people just don't like.
Hey, what's up, Rich?
I mean, with Disney taking more control over things, I don't mean to cut you off or anything, but the problem that people had with Kingdom Hearts 3, really, Ryan, it's just the fact that when you do specials, you know how you summon Beast, you summon, you know, all these other characters from Disney. The fact that you call them attractions now, it seems more like a corporate decision, you know what I mean? Like, there are no Final Fantasy characters really in the game. You notice how it's more Disney than anything else. It's less Square, more Disney.
Which could be the same case with like Marvel's Capcom Infinite, right?
They're
That
just
game-
pushing. They're just pushing
their
their
agenda,
way into the games way too much.
Much like Marvel's Capcom, that game failed because arguably Marvel kind of put Capcom in a corner. It was like, well, we know you have this great game, but you're only going to use these characters we want because they're in the movies.
I put the blame half on Disney and Marvel, and then the other side Capcom, because realistically, for a game that big, you shouldn't hire interns to work on that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Chun-Li's face. That was absurd.
That was terrible. Yeah,
That was
yeah,
absurd.
terrible. The fact that they even had to fix it tells you how.
That's crazy.
Francis says, slice that like button. Sure. I mean, again, like I said, if you want a sub, that is awesome, but don't expect like anything from me.
From what we can understand, there's really no set schedule for this.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just kind of.
It's just
you know,
when I have time.
When
you
he
know.
has time, you know,
This
when
was
he feels
just-
like it.
So I'm not like, I don't have a schedule or anything like that. But thank you for hanging on this long. I guess I haven't bored you to tears, so that's a positive.
I mean, hey, as long as everybody's having fun, you know, it's all it's about. Just chilling and talking about E3 games and whatnot.
Ernie, you're asking what Rich is streaming.
Ernie's there too?
He's probably
Yeah.
streaming. He said he's finished his run.
Okay.
Rich is probably going to stream Splatoon. Because that's that life. He's got that splat
Is he
life.
still trying to get you to play Splatoon?
Not because now that Panzer came out for Switch, he thinks I'm not going to switch.
Okay.
But I was like,
mean, you know,
but I was like, wait a minute.
there's a time,
I'm
most likely a
timed
time.
exclusive, so I
We'll
don't
see
need to
what
get it.
happens in the future.
We'll see.
But even if you do get a Switch, there's still going to be no chance you get a Splatoon.
Ryan says, wait, no FF characters in KH3? What the hell?
Yeah, not really. No, not at all. Actually, nope.
Rax is like, this is like the AOL chat rooms of YouTube. Actually, if you wanted to be the AOL chat rooms, I could do that right now.
Oh, you got it.
Hey, Raxy.
Oh my God, you're really gonna do it.
ASL.
Oh my God. Oh, he beat you to it.
Yeah, boy.
Oh man, we are old. Jeez.
It was a product of my time. Some of you younger viewers probably have no idea what that means.
Cyber?
Vintage.
Oh,
I am vintage,
man.
like a wine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rex. I still gotta come to your place, dude. And we'll if you would honor me to have me, I don't know, just even just playing games at your place, but if you want to have me on the stream, I'd be down. I just got to figure out my work schedule. I go back on Friday. I'll figure out when that is and when I can find a free time. And when you have free time, we'll discombobulate and do something. But we'll see. 14 female Hawaii. Oh man, I
Oh,
love the
man.
cyber.
Oh.
I got a story about that, Rags, but I won't say it here.
I can
Foxhound.
I can
Ooh.
already imagine.
Foxhound. This isn't even E3 related, but Godzilla King of the Monsters. Have you seen it yet? Actually, yes. I saw it with Frank.
Very, very good. I mean, some
so-
people,
People are hating on it.
I just can't see why.
So
To me,
it's much like Shenmue. My fanboyism kind of ascends everything, but the reason people are complaining is that you don't see enough Godzilla. Are you shitting me? Like, or too many humans?
so
Have you seen any of the Japanese movies? They're
like-
all like that. So
yeah,
it's,
like I kind of, because I remember one of the guys who works at Retro, I won't say his name, but he said, oh, they focused on the humans too much and, you know, the drama wasn't there. One friend of mine said that, oh, they promised the movie would be dark. Why didn't they kill the child? So I'm like, well, I mean, I put it like this, right?
it is. So Ryan, quick. That cable you see in my door, so that is feeding to another room. That's a phone line. So that's
Oh, that's old school.
I have a modem in here, but the phone line goes out from the modem through the door into the subsequent room, which is the phone. So it's an internet phone. It needs
Yeah.
a phone line. That's it. That's what that is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So to me, it's like, okay, well, historically, the only thing that can touch us as fans is if Godzilla gets beat up and he gets knocked down and he can't get up. To us, that's more devastating than a human getting destroyed by a monster. I mean, sure, it's sad, of course, but let's be honest, we're here for King Ghidorah, we're here for Rodan, we're here for Godzilla, King of all
Mothra,
monsters,
yeah.
Mothra. We're here for them.
And I think Rodan was the
Rodan
standout. I mean,
looked amazing.
they looked amazing. So I don't
And
know.
The sound is obviously digitized. I mean, they took past recordings from other stuff also, I've noticed. But
So big shout out to Bear McCreary. Bear McCreary did the soundtrack for the movie. So so he's very famous. He does Walking Dead. He does a whole bunch of stuff. But he did his homework and he took a lot of
I do agree with you there for a minute.
he took a lot of the old the kaiju sound effects, Ghidorah's, Rodan's, Mothra's, and he took parts of them, but then also modernized it.
Mhm.
Same thing with the theme songs. The theme songs are in there, so there's a lot of Easter eggs and fan service for nerds like me who grew up on Godzilla. So for me, that level of attention and care transcended any other flaws that the movie may have had. Because again, I understand those flaws going in. I'm expecting there to be human bullshit.
So quick thing. I understand that this is kind of I mean, I'm not necessarily a part of the Godzilla community. I'm just a fan. I just love
Frank
I,
is so
I
like,
just love the design.
If you would look at the camera a little, I have an $800 Godzilla statue facing Frank right now. I have like
It's so huge.
2003 GMK Godzilla. I have mini Godzillas. I have Gigan, Burning Godzilla.
All I have is
I have
all I have is like a mini figure that's this high of Super Godzilla. That's
So
all I got.
I'm
Yeah.
totally. I mean, I know I've mentioned it to Frank, but when he finally came here, I think he finally saw, oh shit, this guy's like
this thing. I
beyond.
didn't think it was that
So,
big.
so again, long story short, it's worth a watch. At the very least, you'll have a really awesome popcorn movie with destruction, great effects, great sound, and amazing fights.
To me, I feel like as a modern and an American at that Godzilla movie, you can't really ask for that much more. I mean, sure. I mean,
Oh shit.
do you guys care for spoilers at all? I mean,
I'd rather not go into spoilers, but I know you were just asking, Foxhound, but I would say give it a watch.
I mean,
give it a watch.
There is one scene that I mentioned to Aldo, like, oh well, so we might get such and such later on, but some people took offense to that because such and such, that was theirs. So the fact that they used it, yeah, I mean, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, I mean, I am kind of making it hard, but if you saw the movie, you'd understand because it was a Japanese thing. I'll just put it at that. The
Yeah.
Japanese created it, so
Mhm.
why is the Americans using it? That is a good point, but at the same time, I mean, the fact that
No one would know what that was unless you were a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of the Japanese movies. I haven't seen them all. I don't own them all. So to me, the fact that they even
This
took
guy.
the time to mention that,
This guy owns them all. It's sad.
This guy owns them all.
It's sad. It's
This
sad.
guy owns
actually.
them all. I don't.
Some-
I've
because
seen them all.
It's
but I don't
amazing
own them.
because in the Godzilla community, there are actually like 2 or 3 movies that are super rare and hard to find,
And he has them.
and I have them, and I was lucky enough to find them. You know what? No, I'm not even going to go into how.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to go into that.
Catch up on the chat here.
But to me, it's just the fact that they even took the time to introduce that, or just to put it in there as a small nod to what's to come. I mean,
It's
you
cool.
can't
yeah,
ask
yeah.
for any more than
Yeah.
that. I mean, that's super vintage. I, mean,
I was extremely
that's
happy.
super indie. Come on.
I got chills. I got goosebumps for certain
same
parts.
here. I mean, when I saw Rodan, I'm like, that's Rodan. They made him look
Like,
sick.
so badass, yeah. Anyways, let me catch up here on the chat. I want to make sure that you guys aren't feeling left out. Foxhound, I'm happy to find Isaiah's getting remastered. Cool. Rax, going on to the cyber chat. Cyber Demon, yeah, how about that? Rich, 2 words for Aldo. Chivalry 2.
Okay.
Yes, you were talking about that. They announced that, yeah.
That looks pretty alright.
Ernie says means ASL, means anal sex lasagna. I wasn't aware of that, but I guess you learn something new every day.
I get it. I get it.
Rax says, no, I mean the ASL, yeah. Rax, definitely want you to come through. We need to watch Super Sentai. Absolutely, man. I know, it's so weird. I'm such a Godzilla fanboy. I'm such a Godzilla fanboy, and I never got into Power Rangers. That's so weird. So weird.
Because I mean, in America they neutered a lot.
They neutered it, yeah. But the Super Sentai is the original, so it has none of that high school garbage that the American version has, I think.
They have a little bit of a slice of life aspect to it, but it's more action based and you get more martial arts. So Super
Foxhound.
Sentai is more.
Foxhound says, man, I wish I could hang out with you guys. You're hanging out with us right now, man.
Hanging out with us right
On
here,
the
man.
virtual couch of the internet.
The virtual
That's
couch.
the glorious thing about technology. We're able to beam.
Foxhound, just pull up a seat, chill out. I mean,
Look,
you got
I'm
any drinks?
talking to 3 different platforms here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So, thankfully to the powers of the internet, we're able to conglomerate everything. That's awesome.
I mean, if you could just see these Godzilla posters right here, I mean, 2 of them I want really bad. I need to find them, but it's still a marvel just to see it.
This one and what?
This one, and I mean,
Oh, Mechagodzilla? These
yeah,
two?
Mechagodzilla. I mean, the rainbow laser, the starburst laser. Or,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Skittles.
So I got these at New York Comic Con last year, $10 a piece. He had more. I was about to get more.
Only $10.
Yeah.
Jeez. You must not have known what you had.
I had self-control. I wanted to buy like 12.
Oh my god. I would have bought that.
Remember, I told you, I have the Space Godzilla. It's a full-size poster, but I need to buy poster tag. And this empty spot is going to be that Space Godzilla poster.
He's bigger than Godzilla by a long shot.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Foxhound,
Those are great.
or Efren, bring back the Godzilla fighting game. Which one? There were a couple. There was
Godzilla
GameCube, Destroy All Monsters Melee. There was Godzilla Save the Earth, and then there was Godzilla Unleashed. There were 3 of them.
Godzilla Unleashed was pretty fun, but I do like
Destroy All Monsters. I
do
really
like
liked.
Destroy All Monsters,
Yeah.
where he's literally like punching the Godzilla, the Mecha Godzilla Mark II. He's like literally just punching right there. That's Super Godzilla actually right there. He's the one that does all the melee.
Foxhound, I feel like streaming some Godzilla fights in the Godzilla game I have. Which one do you have, Foxhound? The PS4 one? Ernie, did you guys talk about...
That could be a pretty fun idea.
We did talk about Battletoads. Long story short, not a fan. Not a fan. It's ugly. It looks like a Newgrounds game from like early 2000s. It's terrible. I think people who like it don't know what Battletoads is, and they only know Battletoads because of the meme, where everyone was calling GameStop and like, do you guys have Battletoads? That, I think, is the generation that will like this, but people who actually played it, no way. There's no possible way.
Okay, Ernie. Well, room tour aside, Ernie. Okay. What do you think of that new? Because I know you're into Souls as much as I am. I mean, I might be into it more, but what do you think of that new game that Miyazaki released between Game of Thrones and Dark Souls? I mean, you got Game of Thrones right here, you got Dark Souls right here. So I mean,
Actually, Ernie's a Game of Thrones fan too.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
okay, all right. I guess
Elden
double
Ring,
teamed.
Elden Ring,
Elden
yeah.
Ring. Yep. I guess I'm double teamed over here. So
No idea. They showed zero gameplay yet.
so
I don't know.
Ernie, the story behind that is they've been working on the game since the last DLC of Dark Souls 3. This is just recap for everybody, for Ernie, because they all heard me say it. But they put the game on the back burner because they started making Sekiro after that shortly. So that's why we don't have any gameplay yet of it. I mean, all we have is just like the first cutscene or so.
Yeah.
From what I heard in the interview, it's gonna be pretty much traditional Souls. The character doesn't have a name. We're gonna be, referred to as, you know how they call us the chosen undead, the hunter, all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be like that. It's gonna have an open world. Just the lore is gonna be a bit different. It's gonna be more on the dark side. It's kind of a Game of Thrones vibe, but
Yeah, so I'm wondering, like,
but very abstract, like Dark Souls.
Like,
so-
were any of the Souls games or Bloodborne or Sekiro, did they ever touch upon incest and like rape? Because
So
that's like,
Dark Souls 1 did touch upon that, but
Really?
but again, you had to kind of piece them together.
Oh,
'Cause,
okay. what character was that?
so you ever been to the Painted World?
Yeah, Aramis,
You know-
Aramis, or whatever.
Yep, Crossbreed Priscilla.
Yeah,
Okay, so the
that giant woman in the on Orlando, the
Yep.
illusion, right?
Yep, the Duke, right?
Mhm.
The Duke's archives, Seep Descalis. So he took some DNA from her and
Okay.
decided to try to crossbreed between the two. And seems though Seep is actually a Duke in the family. You have crossbreeding right there.
That was a
And it
great
is-
fight, by the way.
And it is, and it does count as incest because they are family.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, there's some weird scientific, odd dragon human DNA thing going on.
He's like, FromSoft doesn't need that bastard. R.R. Martin, they do fine on story themselves.
See,
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they complement each
See,
other.
guys, a little backstory. Ernie is just upset because there's no announcement of Bloodborne 2, Project Beast Mark 2. He wants that
Oh.
to happen,
Um,
but there's a gun right
Alright.
behind Bloodborne 2
So-
with Sekiro.
Foxhound said he wanted to see my Godzilla posters, so I'm going to pull a Paul. I'm going to take my webcam and just show it, so
I
you
mean,
guys can see.
they are amazing. I am very jealous that you have those two.
I did. Max, ¿cómo estás, Max? Maximiliano. He's a gentleman who, at the very tail end of the RGA streams,
Mhm.
he's from Argentina. So he,
Oh, okay. Nice.
normally he speaks to me in Spanish. So
Okay.
if you hear me going into Spanish, I'm probably going to talk
No,
to
not at
him.
all.
But
I like
no, I'm not talking dirt about anybody. But Foxhound, let me
Not
just
yet.
flip this over real quick so you can see. So I have 6 posters.
Look how crisp they are.
So the top 3 are the Showa era. From left to right, you have Godzilla Raids Again, which is Godzilla versus Anguirus. In the middle, you have Godzilla versus King Kong.
Look how he's throwing them, man. You say it's so weak and whatnot. Yeah, okay.
On the right, you have Destroy All Monsters, which is an amazing, amazing movie. It's basically, it's like the Avengers version of the kaiju, where they all meet up together and they all beat the shit out of King Ghidorah. It's
Yeah.
great. Now, Frank's personal favorites are these 2 here. So this is still the Showa era. This is one of the last movies. It's a terror of Mechagodzilla,
Yep.
which is Godzilla,
He was
Mechagodzilla,
so violent
and
in there.
the
Yeah.
red kaiju is Titanosaurus.
Yep.
He creates Hurricane tornadoes, which is why you see them in the back. Now here in the middle, this is
That's
the
the one.
this is the Heisei era. This is Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, and then on the right, you have Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla with Mechagodzilla in the back and you got Fire Rodan on the bottom there. So I have them framed up so
I
they.
believe that was the first time they ever introduced us to Super Godzilla, correct?
No, so Super Godzilla was never. Wow, that actually.
I believe.
I put that in the right spot.
Yeah,
But
I believe.
Super Godzilla is only in the video game for Super Nintendo. So
I believe. I mean, they refer to him as Well, when you say Super Godzilla, they kind of refer to him as the Godzilla, the reboot in 2000.
in that movie,
Yeah.
he does get like a supercharge with electricity, but it's like a temporary thing, and they don't
Yeah,
ever.
that's why I said they.
Which is
kinda
why you see
refer
his
to him
spines
as-
are lit
That's
blue.
why I said
yeah.
that's the movie where you kind of referred to him as Super Godzilla at that point. Because I think that's the first time they showed that.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
and then the huge, really huge spikes, and I think it was Godzilla 2000. That one.
oh yeah, he had the really sharp spikes.
Yeah, I think they refer to him as that one as well. So, I mean,
But that's Foxhound.
that's just an inside community thing.
So someone asked how I had them hanging up. So they,
So-
when I bought them at New York Comic Con. They came with those like plastic protectors. So I bought, I think it's 3M. 3M. They have these poster backs, which is kind of like these little strips of tape that you put to the back of the poster, and it pretty much just sticks to your wall.
See, Ernie knows. Bottom, middle, sick.
Sick?
I mean,
Such
the
an
greatest-
awesome
yeah,
poster,
it's the
right?
greatest one, man.
So the thing about Godzilla, even if you don't like the movies, the art
the art will
is
get
so
you.
good. It's like you know.
The,
But,
art, the art alone is enough to get you pumped.
But anyways, after that, I'm old, so my bladder is a little full. I need to go to the restroom real quick.
Yeah, this will happen quite a bit.
So, are you good to pick up? We'll see. Right, I guess. Oh wait, Ernie said Bloodborne 2 will never happen.
No, it'll.
I'll be
happen.
right back, then.
It'll happen, Ernie. I mean, it is in fact in the works. It'll happen. However, it's on the back burner. Oops. Oh, there. Man, this guy is really short. Good lord. He has this thing all the way up. Yeah, Ernie, it's just one-on-one now. Plus everybody else in the stream. What's up? What are you talking about? Elden Ring or Bloodborne 2? Sure, Ryan, I'd be down to do that. And let's see, who else? I'm sorry, Maximilian, I don't speak Spanish, so I can't do anything on that. No, nothing's new, Krusty. I'm just chilling with Aldo, looking at this giant Godzilla statue. And Ernie, honestly, I'm pretty sure Sony's gonna keep that. If they're smart, they're gonna keep it. But personally, I do agree with majority of the people that Bloodborne definitely needs to come to PC because it stutters quite a bit on PS4. So, Uncharted 4 multiplayer, I mean, it was okay. I didn't play it for too long. I didn't even own the game, really. So, my cousin seems to love it. I don't know why, honestly, but hey, I mean, to each their own, so. But, I mean, apparently there may be a Sekiro too. I mean, who knows? So, Bloodborne 2, make it push back again, Ernie. Make it push back. Knowing these guys, I mean, they like to really focus on one game quite a bit. But Elden Ring looks, I mean, from what I heard in the interview, it's sounding pretty okay. We're still gonna get the Dark Souls vibe. Most of the lore is gonna be catered towards the darker side of things, more abstract. So I'm glad that's gonna be a thing. Definitely, yeah. Okay, so the stuttering is fixed on the Pro. Alright, that's nice. But yeah, it's definitely going to be 100% on the next gen, most likely.
What's going on?
I was just talking to Ernie and the guys about some things. Krusty said what's new. I believe you might have already answered that for Maximilian.
Oh no, he said. He said all the posters are in Chinese or Japanese. Son en japonés, Max. Que son películas de Godzilla. Y como esas películas salieron en Japón, las letras que miras que son en japonés.
They are in traditional kanji, which is much harder to read.
So read, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's much harder to read.
Then what's the other handwriting called?
Katakana.
Katakana, right? Yeah.
Katakana. But yeah, that's traditional right there. That's much harder to read. So you'd have to at least be in high school to be able to read that in Japan, which is a very long time.
Cool, cool. So where'd you leave off here?
We left off right here, and speaking of Dark Souls, the Breath of the Wild 2 teaser trailer gave
you a boner? Really,
Okay, hey man, I guess, I mean, if they're gonna make it any more open world than there already is, then I guess that's a feat in and of itself. And Travis, what's up, man? Nintendo won E3, bruh.
So, you know what?
I mean,
I would
it's
say
a hollow victory, though, when you think about it.
because nobody else did anything.
Yeah.
It was kind of
It was kind of bad.
it was kind of an empty E3, right? So, but I will agree for Nintendo fans, Nintendo knocked it out of the park. There was a lot of stuff going on, but for Switch, I didn't hear anything about 3DS at all.
So the 3DS, they've actually stopped making the console.
Oh.
Yeah, they stopped.
So the Switch is their handheld now too, like
The
it's
Switch
oh
is-
really?
Yep.
Okay, but again, obviously for you Smashers, Banjo is a big name. I mean, for me, I don't play Smash, so it really means nothing to me.
But
you know,
Travis, yeah, we're just hanging out, man. Ryan wants to know about your signed Mortal Kombat game, because I know you got it signed, the trilogy.
I showed you this before, Ryan.
I have.
So
Ryan, I have a poster of Mortal Kombat 2 signed by the guys, all of them there, Kung Lao, Scorpion, and Baraka, all of them. They all signed my poster, so I have that. I didn't bring it, but
Luckily, I have them
he
here,
has
but
game there, which, to my opinion, that's the superior port. Anyway.
so I have Ultimate MK3 for Saturn.
Mhm.
It's signed by John Parrish, who does Jax.
Was it
and-
signed on the back or in the front?
Nope, I think it's just him. But then I also have MK Trilogy for Saturn, which is signed by Rich DeVizio, who does Kano, and also Anthony Marquez, who does Kung Lao.
Yep, same ones I got for mine.
So MK Trilogy for Saturn,
Very nice.
it's rather expensive. I don't know how much it goes for these days, but when I got it, it was going for like $180. But at the retro store that I go to, Retro Games Plus, I had about $200 in credit,
Mhm.
so it was free. So win-win for me. I wouldn't recommend spending that much, but again, depending on what a game means to you, sometimes money's not an issue, right? I mean,
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it depends on how much it means to you. So, okay, this is gonna be a bit out there, cause personally, I only played one of these games, and I didn't really. It was okay. I mean, considering the console it was on, it was kind of a. Is a hit or miss title. I know a lot of people love this game. How do you all feel on No More Heroes 3?
so I only played the first game.
Same. I only played
So
one.
I know that Switch had a weird like party game version of that released last year. It was like a mini game
Yeah.
compilation.
Yeah, I mean
And-
that sounds like a beautiful Joe thing to me.
Shout out to Russ Lyman. Russ Lyman on his channel, he did a video about that. It was very weird. It's like Smash TV,
Yeah,
but with the No More Heroes characters.
that sounds very good.
It wasn't a full-fledged game. So that got a lot of meh reaction, and I think this was kind of like their way of making up for it. Like, oh yeah, we know we fucked up. Here's the real game.
So the game I liked the most from him was Killer is Dead. I know a lot of people
Killer's
don't.
Dead, great game,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know a lot of people don't talk
But
about
because
that
it was
one.
only on GameCube, well, it is on PC. It's on Steam now.
Mhm.
I don't know if they ever released it on PS3, PS4,
Oh,
digitally
no,
maybe.
Killer is Dead.
Killer's Dead.
Yeah,
Not
you
Killer
mean-
7.
yeah, you
Not
mean
Killer
Killer
7. Killer 7.
I do love Killer 7, but Killer is Dead is kind of similar to
Killer's
that.
Dead, what platform was that on? That was...
PS3 and Xbox 360.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
I really did like that game. I don't think a lot of people played it. I mean, I think it's... if anybody ever watches Metal Jesus Rocks, it's a hidden gem. I think people would honestly enjoy that more if they heard about it. I mean, it wasn't really publicized a lot. I mean,
hmm
there wasn't much to read about it because nobody really wrote an article about it or anything. There were barely any reviews. If you still had a Game Informer subscription at the time, then I guess. Oh, it's right there. Oh, okay. Psychonauts 2 is there as well.
That's tomorrow's footage or
Oh, okay.
coverage. Suda51, yeah.
I've never played Psychonauts, so I have no idea.
So I played, I didn't play the whole thing, but yeah, that was on the original Xbox.
Mhm.
I believe PS2. Don't quote me if I'm wrong.
Oh, Killer is Dead is on Steam. Wow.
It is on the, okay.
So when I get my rig, I'm gonna have to play it on there. It's probably the superior version anyway.
Ernie says Devolver Digital is always great because it's not a real presser. Yeah, so Rich was telling me about it. Rich was telling me that they have like this, they created a light gun arcade game. What's that all about? They made an actual cabinet with a light gun.
Really?
But what's it all about? I don't know the details. Sounds interesting just because it's an arcade cab. Ryan, hot damn, those are awesome. Did you get those personalized? So those I did not, but I do have portraits of John Parrish, who did Jax, and I also have Daniel Pacina, who did Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, all the male ninjas, and Johnny Cage, which they did.
He is a very nice guy.
Very cool guy, yeah. Actually, I think you were there with me when I got
Yeah,
this
I
in.
mean, he signed my poster for Mortal Kombat 2.
So I have those. I need to get those, kind of like the Godzilla poster. I want to get them in like a plastic frame, not a glass frame, and just hang them up maybe like in empty areas that I have over there.
Oh God, stop it! Oh God, it's Animal Crossing. Oh no, not here, not here.
But I do have those signed. I just need to get them framed and hung up.
Sorry for any Animal Crossing fans, but that did not hear. No.
Ernie, Aldo, what do you think about Google Stadia and that new id Software tech that makes streaming games better? So the Google Stadia, I think, is a big problem. So initially, it sounded like the Polymega, really good on paper. So it's kind of like, you remember, what was it called?
So it's
OnLive?
Yeah, it
It's like
sounds
all streaming. So
yeah,
it
it
so you
sounds
don't,
like it's going to be all streaming, all cloud, and
all cloud-based gaming.
But you already know what the issue with all cloud is.
You need good internet for
You
one.
need good internet. It's
But
always
the
gonna.
problem on
There's
that,
always a threshold of information that you
Mhm.
can have on there too, or memory. So you're gonna have to pay to get the extra memory,
yeah,
and then it's gonna keep escalating so high to the point where, let's say, if you're a guy who goes like, okay, I want to play all the games, but I'm gonna have to keep paying for more data and more memory. So what's the threshold? How is this gonna work? I mean, are we gonna have any discs? Probably not. So this is gonna be an issue.
yeah. So the thing with the Stadia is, on top of all that, they announced these ludicrous price schemes, like models. Like you need to subscribe to it for like $50 a year and all this other garbage.
There's already the subscriptions.
So
and it's not gonna
that's
stop
what
there.
that's what kills it.
Yeah.
What is stopping you from just getting it on a console? Because that's going to be a theoretically better experience. Because the streaming, like you said, unless you have top tier internet, you're going to get stuttering, you're going to get buffering, you're going to get degrading
So
performance.
The only way I can see this working is, the hoopla that Sony and Microsoft tried to sell us about. Well, digital games work better, and the fact that they're digital will mean that we can release them at a cheaper price because when we release.
But they're charging almost
Yeah.
full price for these games.
They're-
That's stupid.
They're charging full price on their platforms, even though they're digital. And if you get it physical, it's actually cheaper. So why do that? I mean, unless they're going to go the opposite route and go like, okay, hey, all that nonsense that they told you guys, it's actually true over here. So when you buy it digital, it's going to be cheaper. I mean, because let's be honest, it's just like music. I mean, a digital game is inherently worth less than a physical
Of
game.
course, of course,
So, unless that game has so much more to it, it can't cost any more than anything else. It can't cost any more than $60.
You look at it here and he's like, don't listen to that bullshit, Frank. Companies want cloud gaming because they can sell you a non-physical product that they don't have to produce, and they can take it away from you.
Exactly.
You never own it.
They can take it away from you at any time because, okay, let's say all of a sudden, all right, their servers start messing up, or you can't connect to the server. You can't get your game. So for me, I'm saying the only way this could work is if it's cheaper than physical games. Let's say that the games are $40 back in the day. Because it's digital, it's easier to produce, you just upload it straight there, it's all files, it's all stream based. Really their money is coming from the subscriptions, and publishers can get their games on there easily. Most of the percentage goes to them anyway.
Yeah.
So in theory, the games should be cheaper, but knowing Google, knowing what this is going to be, they're not going to take any chances. The games are going to be $60, and they're going to have collector's versions anyway, which, I mean, a collector's edition of a digital game, that's dumb.
What's the point?
What's
Yeah.
the point? They're still going to do it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way it would make sense to me, but that's probably not going to be the case. Like Ernie said, I believe he's absolutely correct on that. Hey, who knows?
I mean,
We're just two old men. So.
Unless you download every game, like right as you buy it, you have it.
Because really,
Now
why do
the
you
problem
think-
is, like, let's say Stadia, let's say you buy Cyberpunk 2077,
Yeah.
right? You pre-order it, you get it, you play it, then you uninstall it, right? So it's no longer on your hard drive.
What
Well,
happens
actually,
to-
you're not, because it's all
Yeah.
streaming.
Mhm.
So you're not even physically downloading anything to your hard drive.
Like,
so it's
would I
running
have
off
to
the
like
cloud.
would I have to buy it again on the
So
cloud?
so
or
let's
something?
say Cyberpunk goes under.
Mhm.
It gets delisted from Stadia.
Yep, because
no
they
longer
can't,
have
because they
access to it,
can't, because
right?
they can't keep all the games on there. So, you know what it's gonna be? Well, I mean, it's gonna be like drafts. It's a rotating
So
house.
so why are you paying $60 for that streaming game when it could disappear, like I said, at any time?
Yeah, it's gonna be a rotating house.
Unlike on Steam or Epic or whatever, Origin, you could download the game to your hard drive, so you still have access to it.
I mean, why do you think Steam does so well? I mean, like, they have all the sales and whatnot. You could buy all these games at much cheaper prices.
Yeah, I know, Ernie. I
Realistic.
corrected myself. No
Yeah.
downloads. Yeah, I
Yeah.
corrected myself mid-sentence there. So
Yeah, there are no downloads. So, I mean, like Steam, you know, you got all these sales. The games are at a realistic price. So, that's why they kill the market. They kill it. And I mean, you know, mods, Greenlight, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
It's a haven for people who are wanting to create games and they want to get their stuff out there. So it's easier.
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
I mean, it just works. So I know that was a mini rant on that. It's just that idea, that platform is just so ludicrous to me. I don't even know how they came up with it. But people are still going to give it a shot. I know. It's Google, so you can't go wrong with Google, they say.
Yeah, I mean, they have a built-in user base no matter what, so they're gonna have their people who try it, just like Apple fanatics, because
I mean, somebody's got to test out the waters. So I mean, it won't be me, but hey, unless you have that really high tier internet, I don't think most people are going to try that.
But this is why, outside of Steam, I just stick with retro consoles because, especially with the console space, to me, it doesn't seem, because these console generations are happening so quickly, and they're upgrading so quickly, nothing's permanent anymore. So why invest in a PS4, PS, or Xbox One if
So I think this is your and Ernie's spot right here. NVIDIA. I know NVIDIA has their hands in the AI industry. I've heard about that. AMD, I'm not too
so
I'm not too caught up on.
So AMD back in the day was all about processors, CPUs.
Yeah.
They were head and head with Intel. Intel would kind of beat them out. AMD would have, let's
I
say,
heard Intel kind of just. I mean,
well, Intel got complacent. So what happened is
I heard
AMD.
Intel just kind of stayed running the mill
Yeah.
pretty much.
So what happened is, long story short, AMD would have really cool ideas,
Mhm.
and they would have a chip with like better specs than the Intel. But
they
the
weren't
problem is,
proficient.
it would have a higher failure rate, or it would have not as good a compatibility rate with like different motherboards. Unlike Intel, which is kind of like a one size fits all. So, same thing with their GPUs.
See,
And-
I ran into that problem because, well, short backstory, I used to work at Best Buy, so when I had to sell laptops and when I had to sell computers, whenever I would mention Intel, I don't know about you, Arnie, but maybe you ran into this problem. Whenever I would mention Intel to somebody, that would immediately turn people off for some reason. So I thought that Intel was kind of the run of the mill kind of thing. It's the safe bet. So it's the safe thing that you can mention to somebody that, hey, it's gonna work when you get it. It's gonna have just enough juice to, kind of, finish your homework, do this, do that. You can game a little bit on it.
Browser, what up, Browser? Yo, I don't know who
What's
you
up?
are, but you're talking like Paul though. So what up?
How do we know that isn't?
No, it's he's using actual
Wait, yeah,
capitalization.
there's a
Yeah.
coherent sentence right there. That's actually him.
What about Scott Brown for the Ballon d'Or? Or what did you guys think of that? He was an absolute brick house unit at the back versus them dirty orange bastards. I have no idea.
You
Scott-
sound like an Englishman at the pub.
Man,
definitely
I
do.
don't.
You
But
sound like an Englishman.
so Ernie says Intel fucked up the last 10 years. So it's kind of the same way. They
Yeah.
became complacent because they were, for every enthusiast that would experiment with AMD, there were 1,000 who would stick with the Intel umbrella because it was reliable. It may not have been cutting edge tech,
Yeah.
but 99.9% it would work
Because
with
I
the rig.
find that I had to go into way more detail.
There's
with
more
AM
hoops you gotta jump through with AMD,
With
yeah.
AMD, because I would have to tell them that, okay, well, with AMD, it might not work with this. You might want to go.
Oh, Browser says he's a Scotsman.
With that. Oh, okay.
I wish-
sounds
you know
like,
what?
yeah, he sounds like an Englishman.
Brick house, yeah. I wish I had a
Brick house.
Scottish beer, but I don't. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
right. I couldn't find
But
it.
cheers to the Scots.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. We're just bullshitting.
I have dogfish right here.
So we're
pretty
just
much at the bottom.
we're just shooting the shit about E3 and other topics you guys are talking about. We're kind of going in other tangents too, but thank you for stopping by. But I'm sorry, as you were saying, you were talking about AMD. So like you had to jump through hoops to get their stuff to work, right?
Yeah, because I mean, with AMD, I had to recommend them all sorts of very specific things
Mhm.
and very specific computers and motherboards that I knew for a fact, because I had a list. I would have to go into, I pretty much have to go into the back and I have to read what computers had what in them, and if they wanted an AMD processor that we actually sold and all that, I would have to recommend them that. And sometimes they wouldn't want that.
Oh, thank you, Browser. Look, I normally don't do this type of thing. So what I do is, I've been playing Doom games on the PC late at night. I don't know. Obviously, you're in Scotland, so I don't know what the time difference is, but it's 9:30 p.m. here or so. So I just have my friend here, Frank. We just decided to shoot the breeze about E3 and all the news coming out of it. There's a lot of news that we don't even know about.
Well, browser. I mean, I'm a guest on all those streams, so really, when it comes down to the streams and the times, it's all random. I mean, it's whenever he wants. I mean, I was lucky enough to be a guest on here. So
I literally came up with this idea yesterday. And I was like, hey,
on the spot. So
initially we were using a nice mic, but they decided to crap out halfway
we have
through.
to find a way to fix.
I'm gonna have to fix that, but so I was like, hey, let's just talk about E3, and if people show up, they show up, but it's cool.
Oh wow, it's like 3.
Holy
it's like
shit, 3 in the morning.
Oh,
All right.
my goodness.
So that kind of be around the time when I'm wrapping up playing Doom normally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just have my man Frank here. We're just talking about a bunch of subjects, and the whole thing is when you guys are talking on the chat, I want to try to include you as much as possible. I don't want to feel like you guys are wasting your time just watching me doing nothing. So.
Oh man, Pentium. Oh Lord, you and I know that ain't right.
I'm just bored scrolling through Twitch and found you. You seem chill. I try to be chill, man. I try.
Yeah.
I mean, we're drinking beers and just chilling, So I'm not professional by any means.
To me, this was the ideal stream to begin with. So I mean, we're just kind of, talking to you guys, sharing our ideas about E3. We're talking about processors now. I'm talking about trying to sell them processors and computers at Best Buy back in the day, and how it was so hard to sell them AMD. because it was so specific.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you got the sale, you felt satisfied because they bought so much stuff.
Well, yeah. To get it to work, yeah.
Just to get it to work. So, I mean, I know that's your and Ernie's field, and I believe.
And Rich, yeah.
Yeah, right here, he's talking a lot about it. I'm learning some history here. If I can just move that up. Yep.
So back in the early 2000s, it was back and forth between Intel, AMD, Pentium versus Athlon. AMD for a long time was the best performance versus Intel.
Athlon, I can't find anything on their store for. I mean, every once in a blue moon.
Oh no, Athlon was AMD's name of their chips.
Oh.
So
Okay.
Intel was Pentium, AMD was Athlon. It was just, they were neck and neck. But for every thousand of people,
Because I guess, so for some of their processors, would they just call it Athlon or?
Athlon, yeah, would be a name for it, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, because I mean, now I don't even see it anymore. It's just AMD.
Just like Pentium. Pentium was a line of Intel, but it wasn't the line.
So with Pentium, it's just like, I believe Pentium was like the lowest tier you can get, to be honest. Cause
Yo, look at what are Toss Mr. Shimbo Jacob follow. There might be an E3 discussion part 2 because I missed out. Oh shit.
Oh man.
Yo, Ernie, you're actively involved here.
Rich,
You're good, man.
Rich, what you know about Cyrax processor and not the Mortal Kombat character? Wow.
Cyrax processor.
Oh my
shit.
god, this guy.
Cyrix. Krusty, when I worked at Best Buy in a kind of crappy area, people only wanted those crappy machines. I mean, again, people.
It was running the mill. It was
Yeah.
cheap and it was guaranteed to work. So that's why people got it. Well, now when you're into an Apple person,
Well, that's the worst. Yeah, that's the worst.
that was terrible.
They're pretentious. They're very.
That was
Same type of
terrible.
people who go to Starbucks and like throw a
Oh,
fit
God.
if their coffee's like 2 degrees
Am
warmer than
I
it should be.
like I was pretty much I had to kiss the dirt that they stepped on. It was
To make the
crazy.
sale, yeah.
To make the sale. When you got it, it was like a $3,000 sale, or even $5,000 at times. So I made my quota right there. So you
Now,
can look at
Rich, you have a very good point about the Ryzen. So the Ryzen is their new GPUs, or their CPUs. I'm sorry.
However, at Best Buy, the Ryzens that they sell are very underpowered.
Well, see, the Ryzens are cheaper, so you're getting kind of like the shitty beer. You're getting a value for your money, but the
Yeah.
problem is, just like AMD,
But
you're
they
going to
do
run
have-
into
but they do-
compatibility issues.
But they do have Ryzens that are like this, but they don't sell them there.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the point? You know?
Ryan, I hope the next-gen consoles will reach a point of agreeability when it comes to performance and resolution. Playing console games at 1440p makes me want to cry on how awesome the future could be.
So Ryan,
That won't happen for another 5 years.
here's the thing about consoles. As we know, the PS4 is definitely capable of 60 frames. I'm pretty sure anybody who's played Dark Souls Remastered on the PS4,
Fuck that, Ernie. I'll call it Risen. I don't give a shit.
Reason
Yo, Ernie, I don't give a fuck.
Reason. So Ryan, if you play Dark Souls Remastered on the PS4, it runs at 60. It runs just fine. I mean, the game's just fine. You know, there's no stuttering or anything. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Now you would assume that, okay, gee, if this is running at 60 frames, like the scale is right, the resolution is crisp, why can't other games do it? It lies with the developer. The hardware is there, but if you want to mass produce these, if you want to make them on every console, you can't, it's not going to work. So in the next 5 years, sure, we're going to get that resolution, but are we going to get like the absolute frame rate that we want? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Unless
so,
it's an exclusive and they're going to dedicate their time to that console and the specs to that console, yes. But it's only going to be for like maybe an indie title or, hey, a remaster of some sort that we already know the technology exists, so they're just going to copy paste. Well, like, you know, like the DS fix on PC, that was a copy paste on the remaster. They just changed some things. They fixed some of the
physics issues, yeah.
physics issues and whatnot, so you won't get stuck on certain things. But that's all they really did.
So Ryan.
It's just a sad, unfortunate
So,
truth.
so Ryan says, although I'm already playing PS4 games at native 1440p, it's really awesome. It's just that I hope they won't trade that for frame rate in the future. So
They're gonna have to.
I find it hard to believe that you're running games at 1440p without the games dynamically switching resolutions on the fly, without you noticing. There's no way, because even on PCs, right now 1440 is the sweet spot. Even though these consoles are saying 4K, even on PCs, unless you have a $3,000 machine,
what they
4K is
do-
not running well. So
what they do is, I know this for Bloodborne. So for Bloodborne, for frame rate, right? When you start fighting a boss, the frame rate skyrockets to fucking 60. But when you're fighting enemies like
in the main other
in the
parts.
main area, it's stuttering like a hot mess.
Okay. So what that means is that when you're at a boss, for it to run smooth,
Yeah.
the resolution is going down.
Yeah, the resolution.
Now when you're
goes
going into
down.
the towns or whatever, it's going up.
Yep.
Which is why the frame rate's
Mhm.
worse.
That's
So
why
it's
that's
called
why I
it's,
said like you know.
it's called dynamic
Yeah.
resolution. That's the thing that the consoles do now. So on the fly, it's switching between preset resolutions in order to try to keep things as stable as possible. So that's fine. So like they're touting
You
4K
are right,
and
Ernie.
all
A
that.
4K does run pretty well on a 10-year-old machine. It can run,
Mhm.
but the sad part is, that still takes some dedication to make a game to actually run on that hardware.
No, you're right, Ryan. So they can run 60 frames, but it's just
You have to dedicate that to do it.
and if you're looking like even I don't think we're at the point where consoles right now are running 60 FPS 1080p all the time. It's
Very rarely.
60 FPS 1080p in parts, then it'll switch to 720p. It'll sometimes switch to 980p.
Like I said,
It'll-
I mentioned one game that could do it.
Look what's happening with Witcher on the Switch,
Yeah.
right? Has different resolutions. Why? Because it needs to maintain that frame rate.
So, Ryan, you're correct. I'm not saying that they can't do it. I'm just saying that when they make games for those consoles, you have to consider that an Xbox One and a PS4, they don't have the same specs. So what they're trying to do is find the middle ground.
240p. I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Ernie just shut down
He's
my
just-
whole response.
He's just keeping it real.
Guys, if you don't know Ernie Nuker 43, he's a riot. He should probably have his own channel just for this stuff.
Oh, he does on Twitch. He does.
Yeah, he
plays
has a Switch.
Sekiro, yeah.
He was playing some Sekiro, and his reactions were great. But
So the thing is, Ryan, I think without expounding this further,
yeah,
1440p on console is a different beast than it is on PC because when they're rendering these games on PC, those games are being rendered at 8K and above resolution, so they're able to scale down. On consoles, they're being scaled at a much lower resolution. So even though it's 1440p, the textures
the
that you
textures
see
are probably
are
like
not.
probably
They're
like
not.
30 something.
So
300
it's not an even across the board thing. So while it looks nice, it's not as nice as it would as 14. So for reference, for Frank, this is 1440p. Now you can't really tell because this is just a webcam but if I were to pop in a game at 1440p, you'd be like, oh shit, that is crispy as fuck. Because it's a different beast. It's hard to.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to explain it in more detail for something else than a console. But so what it means is that so for a PC, let's say it's hard because it's like
Rex is like, I love Ernie. Yo, Ernie's keeping it real.
like I
man.
said,
He's keeping it
Ernie is
real.
great. For PC, the PC is much more focused on what it does. For console, if you have a game that runs at whatever resolution, right? Unless it's very much dedicated to what it's doing, it's probably not gonna completely run at that. For PC, once you have that resolution, it's dedicated to that. It's all around you're dedicated.
So, for example, Ryan, not Rax, but Ryan, what would be one game that runs at 1440p on PS4? So, like, I would then ask Ernie, be like, hey, this equivalent on PC, running at 1440p side by side, which one looks better? It's gonna be PC every time.
Unfortunately, I don't know a game. Well, I know one game that does run at that, and it looks amazing. The problem is that I don't think it's on PC. It's called Eternal Sonata. So.
Oh, that was the RPG with the Chopin music, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That was on 360, right?
It was on 360, but they upgraded on PS3. And again, that's, and Ryan, like you said, 60 frames and all that. Again, when they made that version of the game, super focused on the PS3 specs, super focused on what the PS3 can do. You don't find many games like that because you're gonna have to find the middle road.
You're right. Rax. Ryan is the other guy. I'm sorry, Rax. You're the great one. You're right. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Because when you're trying to make games for both consoles, you have to find a middle ground, right?
Hmm?
And even then, when you want to make a game that's very much dedicated to what you're trying to make the game for, at the very highest settings possible for the console, you can do that, but that takes time. And what do these publishers like to do? They like to rush the developers.
Yeah.
And they end up losing a lot of money when they do that. It's very rare that you're going to find a game that's actually going to work at the highest settings or fully show off the capabilities of what the console can do. It's not that it's impossible, Ryan or anybody else in there. It's that it's very impractical for the consoles to do it. Why do that if we can make it look good and make it run?
Ernie's flexing right here. I have a 240 hertz G-Sync 1440p monitor.
Oh my God!
And then
Ernie, shut up.
And then a 4K monitor for games like
Ernie,
Witcher
shut
3.
up now.
Ernie with the flex.
Ernie,
So Ernie, the monitor I'm using, so I'm using the very first commercially available G-Sync monitor. This is the Asus PG278Q 27-inch monitor, first worldwide G-Sync capability. I love it. I'll have to show you a game after, but so you know how like Paul's monitor is like 21? This is 27. So I don't know to you, like does it look big or
It looks very nice, actually.
you know?
It looks. I would say.
You haven't seen the game yet, but like when you see a game, you're like, oh shit, all right. Then you understand why I paid $800 for this monitor. But it was the first of its kind. And now Ernie probably has a newer one.
It's sizable. I mean,
So-
it's not small. I'll say
So
that.
Ernie has 240 hertz. Mine's is 144 hertz. So that was
Okay.
at the time 2 years ago. That was the top. They have since moved on.
Or Ernie, I've seen G-Sync, so
Sure.
I'm already a believer. So I mean,
Make him a believer.
I am a believer. So
This is a beautiful monitor. Like this, because I mean, aside from the crispness of it, I can move it up, I can move it down, I can tilt it. For the shmups, I could turn it vertically. So there's a lot of versatility with it, which is why I bought and I spent that much for it, because it has that much versatility for it. You got D-Sync. Oh shit, boy. That's that next level stuff, Rax. I don't know.
Oh, but sorry, Rax. I mean, I was responding to Ryan, but in all actuality, I was talking to everybody about the console aspect of things and whatnot, and why a lot of the console versions seem to be kind of trash. They decided to I know you're looking at the TV there. They decided to remake The Last Remnant for some odd reason.
What is that? Is that a Squeenix game or what?
It's a Squeenix game. They marketed it as something totally different than what it actually is, and people got pissed. But yeah, they're remaking it, and
Rex,
it looks the same as a 360 game.
sink this D in your mouth.
Oh my God.
GTFO with your frame data. Oh, actually, frame data is somebody else we know, not me. That's a Christian, but sick frame data.
Christian doesn't know. Christian is like a
That's a whole other thing.
Christian is like that one kid that learned the frame data of a Shoryuken and then goes into class and says, "Hey, I know that the Shoryuken on a light move is like 14 frames," and it's like, okay, what about that?
But anyways,
all right, well, that's a totally different.
do you guys have any? You know what? We kind of went off the rails from E3.
Yeah, sorry about
But so is there anything that else, Frank, that you heard during E3 that you thought was maybe worth discussing? So Ernie showed me a picture of. They had the Genesis Mini there,
Yeah.
and apparently they had a giant Genesis controller. He showed it in the chat. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw that. Yeah.
Guy playing Streets of Rage 2.
Yo, I still think you'd be a beast.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you think if I were to use that controller, would I beast in that game?
If you started punching it like that, and then you started doing the burn knuckle and whatnot, yeah, you'd be a beast on that.
Ernie's like, who cares? Fuck E3.
You're right. I mean,
Ernie's just keeping it real.
It's dying out. I mean, but
So
Ernie,
actually,
you're the guy.
I have a really good question. So, you know, looking at all the past years of E3, what do you think was the last year where E3 truly felt great?
And this is the guy who watches E3 religiously. So, I mean, for him to say that, that's a big statement.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty big.
The last time that E3 felt holy shit to me was when they announced Shenmue 3. It was 2015, I believe it was E3, when Sony, they knocked it out of the park, man. They did Shenmue 3. They did Final Fantasy 7 Remake. They did, yeah, just push that button and then hold it, yeah, you got it. It goes one way, that way, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Shenmue 3 was enough for me. That was like the one moment that I never saw coming ever. I was crying like a little bitch. I'll be like honest. Full disclosure, like I had no
I
shame.
mean, I said, let's get sweaty.
I was calling my cousin from New York, and I'm like, you believe this? And we were just like, because we grew up, we bonded over Shenmue, and it was just like, holy shit. How much you throwing down? He's like, $300. You down? I'm like, let's fucking do it. Let's go.
Yo, 300, you down?
Let's do it. So that was
I
it.
mean, I'm screw up. I threw down 60 on the spot because that's all I had. So I'm like, 60.
I mean, no, 300 was
Yeah.
more than I should have, but Shenmue, it's hard to explain, but Shenmue really means a lot to me. So that was the last year, I think, where E3 truly felt like the Super Bowl of gaming. Slowly but surely since then, it's just kind of petered off, you know?
She already put down the same amount as me. I put down 60. Like, right when I heard it, 60. Whoosh, right there.
Rich says, Ernie, you know you're buying that TMT replica. No, he's not. I'll probably get that.
So, as Ernie just talked about Konami, what do you think
What
about
was,
the Turbo
what
Graphics?
was their last conference? Was it the
So what do you think
Wasn't
about
it
the
the
Turbo
one-
Graphics Mini?
Wasn't it? Well, actually, yeah, we didn't even
Yeah,
talk about that.
yeah.
Was it the one where they were talking about the Metal Gear movie that never happened? Is that what that was? Their
See,
last-
like I said before, I think Kojima should just go into movies because I don't think video games is his thing anymore. To be
well,
honest.
we'll see with Death Stranding, but I still don't know what the hell
but
that's.
he's marketing it as a movie.
Yeah, he's like the new David Cage, right? Like
Yeah,
it's-
I mean that doesn't work for me, to be honest.
I put down 60. I still want to go to an E3 before it completely goes away. You know, at this point, I wouldn't want to go to E3. I would rather want to go to GDC. I want to go to Game Developers Conference
Yeah.
or Gamescom. One of those two.
Either those or I want to go
Or
to
Tokyo
Tokyo
Game
Game
Show.
Show. Yeah, I want to go to one of those. So that's what I want to go to. I almost got into Tokyo Game Show once.
Unicorn Zombies, that was the last Konami. Really? What was that?
God, that sounds awful.
Unicorn? Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't know.
But yeah, so Frank brought up a great point. So Konami, of all companies, Ernie, shout out to Ernie for breaking the news, they announced the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. So
At first, I was like, "Ew, no way." I mean, it's Konami, but then I thought about it. I'm like, "Wait,
well, the story,
the Turbo Graphics has my favorite Castlevania game on it,
Round of
Dracula
Blood,
X.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That could possibly have the best port.
So
of
actually,
Dracula X.
maybe you or Rax, because Rax is a huge Castlevania fan. What's the difference between Dracula X and Rondo of Blood? It's just localizations, or is it?
It's mainly localizations and just the port of the game itself. I mean,
Dracula X came here, right? It was on Super NES, but Rondo of Blood was originally on what console?
I believe Rondo of Blood.
It was PC Engine, right?
It was PC Engine. Yep. But it was also called Dracula X Rondo of Blood, so it was the same thing really. But
But on
It-
SNES, it obviously
yeah.
it ran worse, and
yeah, they're technically two different games, like Rack said right here. They're two completely different.
Okay.
beasts, so
It bring me to school, like let me know, because I've heard the two names tossed around. Now, was Dracula X released during the last leg of the SNES, or was it an import only, or was it released here in the States?
So Rondo of Blood
Or Dracula X, whatever.
Dracula X, I believe that was on the PC Engine.
Oh wait. So Rax says Rondo of Blood had cutscenes,
And shit,
different
yeah.
levels.
Different
Okay.
levels, completely.
Oh, Ernie
different
said
game.
that too.
Same
Rondo has
story.
cutscenes and voiceovers to die for. Really? It's bad? Oh shit. Oh, Ernie said, "Oh shit, Tokyo Game Show. Let's go with Eric Nelson." Oh my, let's go. Let's do it. Fucking. Be
So Rondo of Blood, voiceovers, the characters look pretty much different. I mean, Robert E. Lee, Confederate, Belmont character. So Dracula X, guy at a headband and whatnot, big muscles, Richard Belmont, all that. That's Dracula X. That's PC Engine.
Okay.
So that's the one that we all know. That's the one that's in Smash.
In Smash, okay.
Yeah. That's Dracula X. Rondo of Blood
The
is the
blue
one.
shirt, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the blue shirt. He has the cross. He looks like a Confederate soldier. That's a joke. It's a completely different game. It's on PSP. So if you want to play it there, play it there.
Okay, so it was released on PSP.
Yeah.
As Dracula X or Rondo of Blood.
Rondo of Blood. You can
Now,
play the original, but I mean,
now PSN released Rondo of Blood as well, right?
mhm.
But
You can play
apparently,
the original.
nobody liked it because there were issues with it.
There's input delay, there's frame rate issues, there's a ton of bad. I don't know how you mess up a port like that, but there's a ton of issues. I don't know how they messed that up. But Konami, I mean, let's hope we
Yo,
can
go
get
ahead and eat,
ultimates.
Ernie. Yeah, go get some grub, dude.
Let's hope that I mean, yeah, Rondo could be considered a better game. I still like Dracula X more, but hey, I mean,
Which came out first, Rondo,
Dracula X.
Dracula X?
hmm
Okay.
It was Dracula X on the PC Engine. You know that?
Oh, okay,
You know that picture when you see Richard with his whip up, and then you see Dracula in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's Dracula X.
Okay. Okay, wait, before I go eat, let's all be real about the biggest thing about E3. Oh, shit.
Oh man, he's about to drop a
So,
nuke on us.
so Rax, when I do hang out with you, dude, you got to give me like the whole chronology about Castlevania because honestly, after the NES era, I fell off. You know,
They rebooted it like 3 times.
yeah. So it's
We've been over this Ernie Chivalry 2, Final Fantasy 7 remake, Tifa's chest. Okay.
so that I don't know. So okay, so all I know.
Tifa used to have these
She had huge ones?
gigantic ballistic chests and whatnot. They're her, the ballistics. You know what I mean?
From Resident Evil 4, yeah.
Yep. Now they got nerfed.
So I remember in Advent Children, they
got
weren't
nerfed.
huge, but
Yeah,
they
got
were
nerfed
like
again.
they were perky.
Yeah,
They
good.
were-
But they're not here. They're kind of modest.
but in 7 they were huge,
Yeah, in 7 they were ridiculous.
like bigger than Aerith or whatever her name was. Aerith.
Yeah. I mean, of course I know. How can I not know it? They're perverts. I mean, like, all you guys do.
Ernie's like Frank knows.
All people do is talk about that. I mean, that's how some of the millennials, aka Matt, that's how some of them became men.
Ernie's like people are fucking pissed about it on the internet about her chest size, really?
Yeah, about her chest size getting nerfed. I mean,
So what about the other chick, the chick with the bandana? What's her name?
Yuffie.
No, is she like Yuri? Like
Yuri?
like a little girl?
No, she's not a little girl per se.
Did they
She's
change
like-
her look? or is
No,
she-
we haven't seen her yet. So,
Oh, okay.
well, I mean, Ernie,
Oh,
you gotta
right.
remember that's how some of the millennials became men. They saw Tifa. Me, I became a man when I saw King, Mai, and Ivy from Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur.
Yep,
Oh,
that's how I
Max.
became a man.
Gracias por venir. Disculpa, pero no vi que escribiste algo, pero
Sí, bueno.
espero que le pases bien, Max. Que te pasen bien la semana. y
Chivalry 2.
ahí nos vemos, ¿ok?
I
Con
mean,
cuidado,
that's
Max.
Chivalry 2 looks pretty cool.
So Rax is like, dude, there is so much. I would need a year to talk about everything. Rax, I'm all ears. I'm all ears, dude. I'm not going to pretend to say I'm a Castlevania fanboy. I'm not.
Rax, I love
But-
Castlevania. I would love to talk about it with you as well, man. That sounds like it'd be a
It was
pretty
so
good
funny
time.
though because I was watching Rax as he was streaming the Anniversary Collection for Switch, and he raged so hard at Castlevania 1 because I don't know. Did you find out, Rax? Is there actual input lag, or was it like the controller you were using, or what was going on? But like he was getting stomped.
It might have been actual input lag because I remember
who's in charge?
Some of those games had some serious lag.
Who's in charge of the emulation for the collection? That's what I would be curious to know. Like what team was responsible for the emulation? You know what I mean?
I know it's not an official team.
The damn controls are laggy. So like I like what company, like was it M2? It wasn't M2, was it? Was it digital?
Because I don't believe your controller. I mean, maybe your controller might have been a problem too, but I know that some of those games had input lag in them. I know that they were not good ports. Some of them just sucked.
All right. I mean, again, it'd be good. I don't know. So like, it'd be curious to know from like a Castlevania fan's viewpoint to like what was it that caused you to die so much? Just the input lag, and I mean that would suck if that's true. It was M2. I just need a wired controller. Oh, okay. Oh wow, because yeah, usually
I remember hearing some of those games just had like really bad ports.
Because M2 is notoriously, they're a Sega team, and they're known for doing incredible ports. Like they go above and beyond. So they're the ones who did.
Because I heard them talk about.
If you remember on 3DS, they released like Space Harrier, Streets of Rage, Outrun.
And I know those are amazing.
In 3D, those are M2.
But I heard that the whole collection thing, they were like really.
That wasn't
bad.
M2.
That wasn't.
That wasn't. The one that was M2 is the one you have on your PS3.
Hmm?
Was it PS3 when you brought it over? The when I played it at Paul's.
Oh, that game was amazing. But
the Vintage Collection.
Yeah.
That's M2.
Okay.
But the Sega Genesis Classics Collection, that's not M2. That's another company.
Because I know for a fact, playing Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, that little bundle thing, that shit has lag in it.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is just. I don't know who messed that up, but somebody messed it up pretty hard.
Yeah.
Now the one that he played, the one that he's raging at, I know one of those games in there is really messed up, from what I've heard.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I mean,
so I'm curious to see,
because he has it, I don't have it. I've just heard from other people that some of the games on there are really bad. So,
do you guys know if is the Contra collection, is that out? Because I know it's out on Switch, but I don't know if it's out for any other consoles or platforms. I'd be curious to see. I would imagine it's the same team that did Castlevania. If you would, I would think Contra would be even worse if you have lag, because that's like that's Twitch. You know, that's Twitch response. You know, Contra Collection is out. Is it just for Switch, or is it out for all platforms?
You said Contra Collection is out.
So that do you know about that? That has. So it's Contra NES,
yep.
Super Contra, NES and arcade.
I don't know if it has any lag. I've heard about it though.
Contra 3, the Alien Wars, which was for SNES. Contra Hardcore.
Oh yes, Hardcore.
For Genesis.
I love that one.
Which I would say is better than 3. You know, don't get mad.
That's my favorite one. So. Hey.
Also, Operation C for Game Boy. And I think that's it. But then it also has like the arcade versions of each, the NES versions of each, and then they're releasing the Japanese versions of later on as DLC.
Apparently, Mr. Rax the Great is about to buy that right now as we speak.
Yeah, you about to buy it, yo?
Yeah.
Yo, I could be Contra. I could be Contra Arcade in 1 credit.
Why you don't say?
I can. At least when I used to play it, yeah.
Indubitably. Can you do it now?
Like not right now, but if I were to like be in a mood, yeah, I could do it.
I mean, if you get in the zone, you can
under 3 lives, yeah.
I could probably do it too, but only if I get in the zone.
Yeah, Rax, so buy it. Let me know, dude. I'd be curious because I would love to play them again. You know, Operation C, I never played. That was on Game Boy. Never played it, so I'd be curious. But it's funny that they didn't release, because there was a really shitty one for NES. I don't know if you heard of it, Contra Force.
Oh yeah, God.
Which is a very expensive game because it's hard to find. But the game, it's not even Contra. But what happened is, Konami was like, "We got this shitty game. we're just gonna slap the Contra name on it to make it sell, even though it has nothing really to do with Contra. It's more like Metal Slug. Not even. It's like it's just bad. It's just bad.
Is that Mario Maker 2?
Probably, yeah.
Man, they just said forget making Mario games. We're just gonna have the fans make the game for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a good idea, Nintendo. I like that.
I'm almost about Alien Wars EX on Advance today. You almost bought Alien Wars EX.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is. So the only one I know is for DS, Contra 4, which was amazing. I have right there. Awesome game. A lot of people think it's very hard.
You know what I kind of want? I kind of want this series to come back, kind of. I might be invested in getting a Switch if it does come out. You know Advance Wars, right?
The RPG, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
That's from Natsume, right?
Yeah, I really want them to come back.
What was the last one that came out? Was it for Game Boy, or
It
did
was
they
for
make one for
DS.
DS?
Yeah, they made one for DS.
With the stupid DS, like, sub name?
Yes.
What was it called?
I
Dual
That-
systems? Or?
Dual system something. I don't know, but I
You remember
like-
that awkward era where like
yeah.
every DS game had to have like Resident Evil DS, Deadly Shadows, you know. everything.
Shadow Camera, which is something from Silent Hill and all that. Oh, actually, no, that was from Fatal Frame, this Spirit Camera thing, which was a good tech demo, but man, why would you buy it?
Yeah.
But unless you didn't know at the time. But I would love for Advance Wars to come out. I think the Switch can definitely use something like that. So if you want the Switch to really have some hard-hitting titles, Advance Wars, maybe Phoenix Wright, some games like that. I mean, some of those games that are on the 3DS and DS, you bring them on there. I mean, there's Shin Megami Tensei 5 that's going to come on the Switch.
Five?
Yeah. But Shin Megami Tensei, I mean, that's such an out there kind of game. It's a very hardcore RPG kind of game.
So it's such a niche
Yeah,
audience too.
it's such a niche audience. It's like to release that on the Switch. I mean, if anything, they're kind of going out of their way to make it even more niche because they released Shin Megami Tensei 4 on the 3DS. So it's like they're really going out of their way.
Yeah.
You can tell. So, I don't know. I mean, I want the Switch to be successful because, I mean, the consoles need more than just one console. I mean, the Xbox One is a meme. Come on, guys. It's a meme.
Tough shit.
It's a meme. I mean, I will say that Recore looked pretty cool, but that's all I could think about.
That was that robot game, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Sunset Overdrive is kind of weird looking, but
It's on PC now though, yeah.
I mean, what would really get me interested in, even though it'd probably be on PC and much better, a Left 4 Dead 3, but Valve doesn't do 3s.
Valve doesn't do threes.
No,
Nope.
no. But if they had it on there, that'd be a seller.
Yeah. Too bad Valve doesn't do that. They
Nope.
don't know. They're just twos. TF2, Dota 2, Half-Life 2.
It would take certain games that would have to come out only on the Xbox One. I mean, like, we're talking like
But anyway,
another Ninja Gaiden.
So you know what? We went on to another tangent,
Yeah.
but the original question you had for me was TurboGrafx 16 Mini.
Yeah, I mean,
We totally got
I
dovetailed
was
from that.
saying that, Castlevania, Dracula X on there, I mean, if Konami does it correctly, we could actually get a very good port of the original
Yeah.
game. So
So
I
the
mean,
interesting
it's-
thing is they're releasing 3 different versions.
you
They're
could get
releasing,
Keep Courage on there too.
yeah, they're doing TurboGrafx with the US, PC Engine for Japan, and I think it's the Core Duo for Europe because that was the name for it there.
Yeah.
So they do 3 different SKUs, 3 different looks.
Actually, now that I think about it, we can get a very good port of Splatterhouse on there.
I was saying Splatterhouse is popular with that too.
Mhm.
So we have a port of the original Rondo. Okay, what? Do you know what
Not
the?
a very. I mean, we do, but we do.
Oh,
Technically.
Castlevania Requiem Collection on PS4.
But that
Is that the one that everyone complained about? that had
Yeah,
issues
it
with
has lag on it. I mean, it's not a very good port though. To be completely honest with you, it's not a very good port.
In
It's-
what respects? Like it's just Does
There's
it run well, or
it
emulation
doesn't run,
issues?
it
Or?
doesn't run very well. I mean, it runs well. It just you can notice that there's some lag in there, and I don't know whether or not that was because of the game or because it's wired. I don't know, but I would assume that it being on the TurboGrafx Mini, it would run better. Symphony,
if they do
I didn't
it,
play
yeah.
Symphony of the Night on it, but I know from experience, Rondo had some bad lag in it.
Well, didn't they redo the voices on Symphony of the Night for the Requiem collection? I believe that's
Yep.
was a lot of people complaining that they changed the actors.
Yeah.
Gotta disagree. People complain because on Symphony of the Night had the PSP dialogue. Oh, is that what that's what the changes were?
I don't know about Symphony of the Night, like I said. I only played Rondo. I know Rondo had some input lag on it. That's all I know. I mean, you would have more information on Symphony than me because I've never played Symphony, unfortunately.
Mm.
So I'm humbled by thee. I've never played Symphony. So you know you can slay me right now, Rax. You can cut off my head. You can do whatever you want.
Yo, Rax
that
knows the
seems to
stuff
be
about
alright.
Castlevania. What I know
Yeah.
about Godzilla, he knows about Castlevania. So
Yeah.
I gotta take another leak. I'm old, man. I don't know how you-
Yeah. I
don't
mean
know
your
how you-
bladder. You have the bladder of a 10-year-old.
I do.
So,
It's terrible.
yep. So once again, guys, it's just me and you. How y'all do? But yeah, Rax, you are currently the Castlevania expert on here. That might have helped you out a lot more since you had a wired controller. I had a monitor. I mean, I had wireless, so I mean that probably was the problem. Thanks, Rex. I try. I mean, you calling me a smart dude, that means a lot. Thanks, Bill. But yeah, I'd definitely like to hear you talk more about Castlevania. I love Castlevania a lot. You seem like the current resident expert on it. I have not played Symphony of the Night, though. I should definitely play that. You have a $200 controller? My God. My guy. Jeez. I would like to see that controller. Good lord. But yeah, was there anything else about E3 that hyped you up? And is there anything else that was released on Nintendo other than Super Mario Maker 2 that came out? I mean, oh my God. You're right. Oh yeah, I did hear that there's going to be a Luigi's Mansion 3 and Gears 5. Ah, man. Hey, Francis. What's up? Yeah, Gears 5. I'm not sure what that's. I mean, I heard very little on that. What's up, Mel? I don't know what they're going to do for Gears 5. I mean, I don't know. You heard about Gears 5, right?
I did. Yeah. I didn't play Gears 4, so honestly, I don't know what the story is now. I know the Locusts are gone, but I guess there's a new enemy called the Swarm. I have no idea, really.
I read a little bit about Bleeding Edge. It sounds pretty cool. There's a Luigi's Mansion 3. I've heard about that. No More Heroes 3. What's up, Francis, again? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Gears 5. I mean, it just I just don't know what they can do next unless they're gonna introduce something completely different. Because I mean, they killed the Queen, and apparently we still lost even though we won. So
Well, see, I don't know. Yeah,
know.
the last one I played was 3, so I have no idea what happened in 4.
Marcus is gonna return. I mean, I like Marcus. So
Well, I mean, he's in 4.
Yeah.
Oh, he's old, but he's in there. Yeah.
Still gonna return, I guess. So yeah, you can't keep an old man down.
Rax says Astral Chan.
I just added you, Mark. I just added you, Rax. So, yep. All right.
Cool.
Cool.
I'm hyped for that because it reminds me of Gantz.
So Rax the Great called me a smart guy.
Oh shit!
That is awesome.
Yo, he never called me that, so take that. Yeah, take that.
I'm taking that and
Take
running
that.
with that.
Yeah, run it. You're good.
Oops. Did not mean it.
That's all good. It's all good. It's solid straight. Don't worry about any of that.
Yeah, it's pretty sturdy. I mean, it probably like destroyed my bones. So
Rich, Breath of the Wild 2, whenever it comes out, teaser looked good. I saw it. I never played Breath of the Wild though. So
apparently,
to me
there's
it's...
going to be a remake on Link's Awakening as well.
Well, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
They announced that earlier in the year.
I didn't like the art style.
I don't like the
of
art
it,
style.
yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. Now,
Now, A Link Between Two Worlds, I actually did like that. Even though that was kind of a spiritual successor to that. But, I don't know. What do you guys think of Link's Awakening remake?
so for me, which I never kind of grew into the 3D era of Zelda, Link's Awakening to me is my favorite game from the games I've played.
Now, I'm a filthy heretic. I like Zelda 2, Link's
Okay.
Adventure. I
Yeah.
like that game a lot.
It's a great game, but a lot of people complain it's too hard.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's a black sheep. I'm a heretic, so, cut my head off again, Zelda fans. It's fine. I will take that. But, well, I mean, Awakening, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't. It's just not my favorite.
Oh shit, Zufo, I don't know who you are, but you wrote Dreamcast 9999, never forget.
Correct. He's a legend. He knows.
You're a smart
Yeah.
man, you know your
Yeah.
stuff.
There's a Dreamcast right over there too.
So
Standing strong.
my ideal dream E3 scenario, let's say Microsoft or Sony's doing a conference,
Yeah,
and-
fucking HD Dreamcast.
and then all of a sudden Sega just storms the stage. Alright guys,
Oh, Sega the Central just destroys the stage.
we've been bullshitting long enough.
Yeah.
Dreamcast 2, roll it.
Dreamcast 2,
Boom.
let's go. It's the same console that's just been HD'd up.
That's all I need.
It's the same
I
console.
don't even need it. I don't even need anything else. I'm good. But that's just me. That's just me. Rich, Link's Awakening looks neato. I like the claymation look they have going on. So, I
I'm just
don't
not
know.
a fan
Just
of claymation. I don't know what it is.
So the
just
thing
doesn't
about
work
Link's
for me.
Awakening was it looked like the NES, the NES Zelda first one, but with a little bit of a more cartoony style.
Throws money at the
Oh,
screen.
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
mean, of course. I mean, if it's something you like, you guys don't
But
mind
I just hope, even though they're changing the art style, I hope they don't fuck with the story, because
Hey,
the
get
story,
wrecked, Aldo.
the story is what makes Link Awakening.
Oh boy.
Link's Awakening is what makes the game.
Okay,
Story.
Rax. I'm gonna check my messages. All right. Keep it PG. Oh. Good
Ernie
lord.
said they would do everything Aldo said, but it would just be a Dreamcast Mini. That's all I need, yo. That's all I need.
God, you have a Evangelion themed controller? Holy sh!
Oh wow, Rax is hardcore Evangelion.
Yeah, Rax, you're flexing on me already. Jeez, man. I like it though. I like it. It's awesome. Jeez,
Or
you're
does
already
it get
flexing
wrecked,
on me.
Aldo? Why would I get wrecked from a Dreamcast Mini? That's what I want. That would
A Dreamcast Mini. There's no way they could fit that beast as a mini. There's no way.
I don't know, man. I have faith.
But then again,
So going back to the
there's
Turbo,
just too many games.
going back to the TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah.
What do you think would be an ideal price point for that? Like, what is the right price? Let's say they have 25 games, right? They've only announced 6 so far, but
25 games.
well, let's say.
Okay, well.
I mean, so we don't know yet. We don't know what the full roster is going to be.
Considering the TurboGrafx history and the type
So-
of games that are on it,
Yeah,
$100 at best.
$100. So like
$100
NES
bucks.
Classic was 60, SNES was 80, Genesis Mini is going to be 80, PlayStation was 100. And
Because TurboGrafx, I mean, those games are not easy to find. I mean, you can get them now, of course, but judging by the type of quality that's going to be in it.
actually, Ernie, you're wrong. There are two.
Bonk.
There is one CD game. It's YS, Story YS.
Oh,
1 and
Ys.
2.
Yes,
Ys.
you're gonna have Ys 1 and 2 on there,
So those were CD games.
which is a very good port, mind you, on there. It's very good. So, I mean, considering the games, it would have to be the games that they put on there that would. I mean, if it's just your average run-of-the-mill games, then sure, maybe like 80. But I mean, if they're gonna go all out, if Konami goes all out on this, like the harder to find games and whatnot, not some Keith Courage nonsense and Bonk. Well, I mean Bonk is good.
Bonk has been. Bonk is
Bonk
their Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Bonk is really good. But I mean, like if they're gonna do run of the mill games, like they're gonna the cookie cutter games, everybody knows about them already. Then yeah, sure 80. But I mean, if you're gonna go all out and you're gonna go like after like the really hard games to get,
Mhm.
or like the really sought after ones, then 100. I mean, sure, people are gonna get it.
I mean, who knows?
Not
Because
everybody's played the TurboGrafx.
Well, that's the thing, yeah,
and it's
like-
all in all its glory. So I mean,
so
it's
so
sought
few
after.
people had a TurboGrafx here, so
Yeah.
it's a much more niche system. So I think it'll be a harder sell outside of the people
Yeah.
who know what it is.
So I mean, considering that it'd be a harder sell, maybe it's safer to put it at 80, maybe 70. But considering the games that are going to be on it, consider the really good games that they have, it could be more. I don't know.
So Rich, even better than a DC Mini.
Apparently, they're not making
They-
a Batman game anymore.
Yeah, okay. They work
Oh,
with One Up and
shit,
Do It
okay.
Cap with
You say that
Outrun,
now.
Alien Syndrome, Shinobi Shadow Dancer, Golden Axe, Zaxxon, Pango, Afterburner, Space Harrier, Mic Drop. I mean, with the DC Mini, for me, you need Shenmue, you need Sonic Adventure, you need Crazy Taxi, you need Power
You
Stone.
need Power Stone. You absolutely need Power Stone. I mean, they're gonna put on Blue Stinger, obviously. You need Marvel vs. Capcom, obviously. You need certain
NBA
games.
2K, NFL 2K,
There's obviously gonna be sports games on there, like all those said.
Sega
Yeah.
Swirl. Hell yeah, that game. Well, that game's free, but yeah.
Dude, you're gonna need. I mean, I know it's gonna be hard. You're gonna need House of the Dead. You're gonna need Phantasy Star. There's just so much.
hmm
It's hard. I mean,
I- well,
it's a hard sell. I mean,
It's just because like everything on Dreamcast, you could say is quality. Like the quality to shovelware ratio is
Is
so,
so
low compared to other consoles.
I mean, you can argue that, all right, well, Blue Stinger wasn't that great, but it was fun. I mean, it was a launch title. For a launch title, that was pretty good. Yes, Carrier sucked. I will agree. Carrier did suck. But, I mean, what console didn't have a crappy start game? None. I mean, all of them had a crappy start game. So, I mean, I would say definitely put Resident Evil and Nemesis on there. Definitely. Put that on.
So Rack says Rocksteady's rumored to be working on a Red Hood and the Outlaws game. Huh. Okay, well Red Hood. I mean that had to be rated M.
It has
If
to
you want
be.
to do it right, yeah.
Yeah.
Rich.
Personally, I would like them to work on the new Red Hood stuff. Well, I mean, actually no. Red Hood and the Outlaws did have Artemis in it as well, and it did have Bizarro, so that could work. I mean, if it has co-op, that would be great. So, hey, that'd be fine.
Hmm.
If Sega Dreamcast had a DVD player, it would be. I mean, technically,
It
it'd still
did.
be alive.
It had
Yeah.
one in Japan, but not here.
So my problem with that is if it had a DVD player, technically the player that it had originally was able to do the things that it could do, or better than its predecessors or better than its competition. My mistake. So for Grandia 2, right, the opening on the Dreamcast versus the PS2, it's all in-game graphics. For PS2, they had to rely on a movie, but because of what they were working with on the Dreamcast, they had enough space and they had enough processing power to actually do all that with in-game graphics. The problem is, because it's so easy to pirate those CDs and whatnot, all you have to do is get the BIOS for the Sega thing, which is not really a CD issue, it's more of just their security issue.
Mm-hmm.
If they had a way to work around that earlier, it would have still been around. So, I mean, say what you want about I think it was what was the name of the CD again? I always forget the name of the
For
CD.
GD-ROM.
The GD-ROM. Say what you want about it. It helped them make a lot of good stuff. So, I mean,
And actually, Ernie Rax is right. So light gun games are kind of HD TVs. I believe Hyperkin announced a light gun for the NES to work with HD TVs.
so I mean, House of Dead would have to be on there. You can't make a mini without it.
Without that,
So
yeah, you're right.
there's just some games that you just have to put on there.
Oh, Polymega's making one too. Really? Okay.
Okay.
Which earlier we did watch the Polymega gameplay demo. Again, too early to tell if it's just stuff they're snazzing up for the E3 show.
So Rax, Ernie, I mean everybody in here. I said this before. So they were showing off Sega Saturn stuff because conveniently we already know Neo Geo CD, Sega Saturn stuff. That's kind of harder to emulate. There are some games that just don't really work well with emulators on those two consoles. What do you guys think? Do you think that was just a souped up version of the actual console that's not going to be released to us, that we're going to actually have to pay a lot more just to get that to work like that? Or do you think that that's a genuine console that we can all really afford and get? Well, what do you guys really think on that? Because they showed Samurai Showdown 2 on the Neo Geo CD running on that. I mean, that's kind of a safe pick because that works on any emulator really. But then they showed Sega Saturn, which it ran fine. But Sega Saturn is a very hard
Notorious
thing.
for
It's
working,
very,
not working well. Yeah.
yeah, it's very hard to emulate Sega Saturn. I mean, it's only recently that we actually got emulators to really work well on that. And man, they're still showing that. They really love Mario Maker.
That's a big
Sorry
demo.
about that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Light Gunverter works with Dreamcast. I don't even know what that is. I'll have a look into that, Rex.
But what do you guys think on that? I mean, honestly, I think it is a souped up version of the actual console. I don't think that's the real one that we're gonna get.
Yeah.
There's just no way that you can just go straight from that to that. That's, I mean, if we could do that, then we would have done it already. We would have done
Not
it.
this company who's selling it for profit.
Yeah, I mean, that would have already been a thing very soon. So I don't think that's going to be affordable. There's no way. I think that there's definitely some snake oil in there, but hey,
That's what E3's about.
I'm just a very old man and a very cautious one of that.
So while maybe you wait on that, I guess it is getting a little late, but there's a final question. What, from everything that you've seen or heard from E3, what's the one big takeaway that stuck with you?
A really big takeaway? Well, I mean, it's Elden Ring.
Just the potential of it? Like,
Just the potential and the sheer scope of that. I mean, after reading the interview, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's looking like it'll be a pretty good thing, but you never know. I mean, an interview's an interview, so.
I mean, their track record from software speaks for itself, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, the track record for them speaks for themselves. I mean, from what I heard from the lore, it's going to be darker. From what Miyazaki is saying, it's going to be traditional Souls. The lore is going to be much more based off of what he likes to write, but it's going to be abstract like Souls games usually are, so who knows what that's going to be. To me, that was the biggest takeaway game. So, and that and Banjo-Kazooie finally getting some good recognition. I mean, Nuts and Bolts is just so bad.
Yeah, I mean, after he's been shit on for a while, it's kind of good to hear.
Yeah. I mean, that was another good takeaway. I mean,
so Ernie says, I don't know much about Polymega. I didn't watch anything on it. But I do know that a Dreamcast Mini most likely won't have light gun capability because it will raise the cost of production, and that the new light gun and HDD stuff is still too new. Which Brian Nazi, you may remember him from the RGA, he says WAPO, so that means pretty. I don't know who he's talking about.
Pretty? I mean, are you calling both of us pretty, or are you calling all of us pretty?
Well, it'll probably be WAPOs with S, but I don't know, Brian. What are you talking about, Brian? Okay, on that. Rax, look up the Sinden light gun. Assuming that's another HDTV friendly light gun.
Okay.
But yeah, you were saying that. So for me, The biggest takeaway I have is actually probably the topographics, because that just
Yeah.
came out of nowhere. Like, never at any point did I ever think, oh yeah, that's gonna happen. So it's like the
Oh,
potential
yeah,
for that.
it just came so soon.
Out of
I didn't
left
have
field,
any.
yeah.
I didn't have any real thoughts on it. I was like, well, I mean, that could work, but is Konami really going to be dedicated enough to do this? I mean, I don't know. If they are, then it could be a really good sell. It could really bring them, out of the shadows, I guess. You know what I mean? Because not a lot of people are going to buy Konami games now.
There's no faith in their product.
There's no
yeah.
real faith in them. So
Well, that and the arcade one-up stuff too, as Rex mentioned. That's I mean, ever since CES, there were reports that there was going to be like a Capcom fighting thing. They were saying NBA Jam was going to happen, NFL Blitz. That wasn't announced yet, but that may happen.
yes, Brian Nazi, this is an alcoholic drink. I mean, it's very light, but yeah.
Refreshing.
refreshing at the very least.
Jesus does not approve of that. Good thing I don't believe in him, so that's all right.
He's
Rich,
the greatest cartoon character.
my takeaway is Nintendo, Devolver, Tom Banner, and AMD are all looking to drain my account. Also, one of my favorite developers are making a lot of other people's favorite games. Sequel, Destroy All Humans, is being made by Black
Okay.
Forest Games.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
they were bringing that back. That's interesting. That's a relic from the PS2 era.
Yeah,
So,
so that seems pretty fun. I guess Keanu Reeves just appearing out of nowhere and just having a lot of fun up there.
like a
I
genuine
mean,
surprise, yeah.
that was pretty awesome. I mean, the dog appearing in there too. I'm like, that's a John Wick reference. So, I mean, okay. I mean, he definitely still looked like John Wick up there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
It's
think
John Wick.
he's not
No,
going to
no,
change his
I'm
hairstyle for a couple of years.
Hey, I'm Keanu Reeves as John Wick.
So Ernie says, I was happy
Yeah.
with it, but a lot of people are pissed. It wasn't a new Castlevania announcement.
True. I mean, you can't really expect that from them right now.
So the people who are pissed are probably people who have no idea what that is, TurboGrafx.
Yeah.
Newer generations, right?
Mhm.
But like, it's
For us,
such a
like,
left field announcement. And it's like,
'Cause,
oh,
I mean,
shit.
I never owned a turbo. I mean, I never earned one of those. I mean, well, not earned, but had one of those. I've never had one.
No, I never had one either, yeah. Because that was even more rare. That was like finding somebody with a Neo Geo back in the day. It was very, very, very hard.
Mars light gun for Xbox One. They had a light gun.
I mean, it's Xbox One, so I don't really follow that. So
Me
I
neither,
wouldn't
man.
know,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, Rex. I don't have any information on that. I don't know.
But
It's
yeah,
rare. I don't know something.
I mean, other than that, I mean, this obviously did not cover everything. Oh, friends, I have one. You have what? The Mars Lycon or an alcoholic drink, or what do you have? I mean, I don't know what you got, but no underage drinking. That's bad. But
Indeed. Please do not drink
yeah,
that
and
race.
so I think in a nutshell, E3. Oh, he's talking Rich. Okay. So E3, I think this year more so than like the past 2 years, it's kind of showing you that E3 does the industry need it. You know, because E3 was that huge thing years ago where
I would
companies needed to be there in order to get out there in the public eye. But like you said, with the advent of the internet getting stronger and stronger,
I
the
would
need
say
for E3 is less
I
and
would
less.
say for the independent developers like Ubisoft and all them, I would say they need it. Obviously, the bigger platforms like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, Josh. Yo, what up, Josh? So Josh is.
Cores Extra Gold. Oh my God, get out of here!
That's it. That's the extra gold right
Oh
there.
my God.
So Josh is. My
Yeah.
cousin's boyfriend,
Yeah.
and we're beer snobs. So he actually got me onto the extra gold. He got me onto that. So yo, Josh, I got a 30-pack. You know, but
I know, but even though I'm drinking it, but still, it's get out of here. God dang it.
you're in
It's
Aruba, but it's extra gold, yo. Extra gold.
Oh, Extra Gold's
Best
Cores.
value you can get for your
Oh my
dollar.
God.
Well, you just called me at the tail end. We're wrapping it up here. We were talking for like 3 hours, I think. So we were just talking about E3, just chilling. But yeah, like I said before, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. Is the importance of E3? Is it dying down? Is it?
Next thing you know, Aldo will have me drinking Corona Light.
No, that's not happening. No.
Corona Familiar.
No, that's
Yeah.
let's not be crazy now.
Yeah.
Johnny Lever because it's all for us to lever. Johnny Lever because that's a shanty. That's a Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. That's one of the sea shanties you say.
Mhm.
I know that. I remember that. Good friends. I don't know where that's coming from, but I know that
Have
from
you played
Assassin's
all
Creed
the
4.
Assassin's Creed? Or-
No, I left off after Syndicate.
Oh,
So after Syndicate
that's
was
the one with
the one in London, the two brother and sister combo.
that had Florence Nightingale in it, right? Or was
Jack the Ripper was in it.
I believe Unity had Florence Nightingale.
Yeah, Unity.
Yes.
Yeah. So Unity, and
That's
then
that's
Syndicate.
the only that's the one I remember because that left such an impression on me when I saw that.
Yeah, actually, my favorite shanty, Francis from Assassin's Creed 4, was Drunken Sailor. Drunken Sailor was the best shanty to me. I would spend so much time.
Of course it would. Yeah.
The best, my most time in Assassin's Creed 4 was just sailing the open seas and just listening to shanties. They were so, they just hype you up. It was crazy. At least that's a decent beer for $6. Rich, Total Wine, get a 30-pack for $16. Can't beat that. Especially when you're drinking on a budget.
I mean, it's very light.
When you're drinking on a
It's
budget.
very light,
No.
but I mean, it's for Coors. I mean, it's better than their average stuff. So I mean,
There you go.
it's better than their average stuff.
I'm not saying it's great. I've never at any point did I say it's great. I just said for the value, you're getting a decent beer.
I'm an up and coming beer snob.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I would take that any day. But
I'm
yeah.
not up and coming. So
Jacob and Evie. Yes, from
it's-
Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Jacob and Evie Fry. Yep.
thanks to your cousin right here, it's actually getting harder for me to drink regular stuff now.
Ah, see?
It's
Yeah,
getting
that's what
harder.
happens. That's what happens, yep.
Yep.
That's what happens. Rich, they're pints, not that. Narragansett. Oh, Narragansett, can't do Narragansett lager. Nope, can't do that. That's skunky. It's terrible to me. Narragansett's that white can with the.
I've seen it.
Well, let
yeah.
me.
It's German, right?
No, it's New England
Really?
or yeah, around the area.
It really
It's
has
northeast.
it looks like it has a German vibe to it too.
No,
Like it's written in that really.
It's
German
either
vibe.
here or Rhode Island. So it's something around that area.
Oh.
It's not too far from us. Well, it is far, but within the northeast. It's northeast.
Okay.
Rhode Island. There you go.
Okay, that's they're really German.
But yeah, so yeah, for me, I think this year more so. With previous years, I would be like, I gotta check my phone. What's happening? What's going on at E3?
But
this
now
year-
you just didn't really feel like it.
It's just like, well, Sony dropped off. Nintendo's not doing a conference. Only Microsoft. So they're like, where's the importance? Where's the big match feel?
And
you
then
know?
eventually Microsoft is going to say, well, forget this. We're just going to do our own thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's
is it worth the extra cost to go to E3 if you can just, do it on your own terms?
probably not. It's probably becoming less and less important now.
I mean, the individual companies, I would say that E3 is going to be, it's going to be bigger for them. I mean, if indie developers can get in there and release their own stuff, then, I mean, sure. I mean, maybe E3 might be bigger for them. I know
Mhm.
some people are in there going like, oh, retro indie trash, whatever, but you never know. I mean, it's better than looking at that. I would love to see some new games that come out of nowhere at E3 rather than nothing at all. So if it's gonna turn into indie developers and not individual developers, but publishers and whatnot just showing off what's coming, like the really hard hitting games that are coming soon or in the future,
Mhm.
sure, by all means. Or just them showing off a new engine for a game, by all means. I'm down for that. But as it is now, oh no. It's kind of bad now. I mean, again, Microsoft, sure, they knocked it out of the park, but I mean,
Well, they knocked it out of the park for.
realistically, it's only multi-plat, so
That's
you
what I'm
can't really
saying,
say
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So unlike Sony in the past years, where it's like really strong lineup, and the vast majority of games are only on PlayStation,
Yeah.
so it gives you a reason to buy that system. Microsoft this year, solid show, but
I agree, Ernie. That's what I was talking about. It's like for individual games and whatnot. sure, why not? It's fine. But in the past, we went to E3 for thinking about, okay, Sony's probably going to introduce something new for the consoles, or they're going to introduce a new console, or they're going to give us something really big on games, or something that we just wouldn't even think of, or something like Metal Gear Solid 4. I mean, that was a huge announcement. That was crazy when that came
Yeah.
out. So, Halo, I mean, that's nuts. Stuff like that.
So-
Nintendo did win, but I mean, it's a hollow victory. It's like Sony. That's like saying, okay, yeah, Nintendo won a sword fight, but the other swordsmen didn't even show
Didn't
up.
even show up,
Yeah,
yeah.
they just.
So I'm surprised. Maybe you guys
still-
can correct me,
yeah.
but I don't think Sony had any like live stream or any
They
type
had
of
no
like
presence.
I mean,
No.
they were on the show floor, but they didn't have any type of public stream
Sony skipped the whole
or anything. Yeah, so that hurts. That hurts. You know. 'cause-
So I don't think it's gonna hurt them. I think they're gonna show up at the Tokyo Game Show.
and
be
kill
honest,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
they're gonna kill it.
If anything, I think they might have something down the road for their next console and for, I mean, obviously the FromSoft game.
Oh, they weren't even on the show floor. Oh wow. Okay.
No, they weren't even there.
So Francis is doing more Assassin's Creed 4 shanties. Oh shit, Giga.
Oh, Bill O'Reilly.
Giant Shill from Game Smash.
Banjo.
I think he's talking about Banjo for Smash. Yeah, what's
Yeah,
up, Giga?
I mean that was a good announcement for me. I was happy to actually see Banjo Kazooie in there.
oh,
I like
Ernie
Banjo
saying Sony's booth was a lounge bar.
Pretty
Wow.
much, yeah.
So,
I
like,
would enjoy that.
so what would you say? Thumbs down, thumbs up, like neutral. So far, from everything that you've heard, everything that you've seen about E3 this year, what's your reaction? To me, it'd be neutral. Like it's nothing blew my mind outside of the TurboGrafx 16 and the Arcade 1-Up stuff, really. And Panzer Dragoon. Panzer Dragoon was amazing to see, but what would it look like outside of that trailer? Like, what will the actual music sound like? What will
So,
the actual gameplay look like?
I know that you're neutral, but I'm kind of a thumbs down kind of guy
Okay.
because it's like a lot of this stuff sounds good, right? But when we really think about it, when we really get into detail, it's like, well, Panzer Dragoon, like you said, how do we know that it's not going to have the Witcher 3 effect? Like, yeah, you can dock it and it looks amazing, but when you actually play it on the go, it's like, okay, this is really hard to play on the go.
Hmm.
Unless I'm really just sitting down and focusing and playing the game. Because an RPG is not like that. Now, an
Yeah.
RPG, you have to sit down and play. Witcher 3. Yeah, it's amazing that it's on there, but it's like, I mean, a friend of ours, a friend of yours, said that, oh, it's a technical leap. It's amazing that they were even able to get on there. I started laughing when I saw the resolution. I started like at work, I just bursted out laughing.
Like
when I
we're in
saw the-
2019,
like, this
and
is
that's considered a
2019.
victory.
Yeah, that's considered a victory. Are you kidding? Like that's like we're grasping at breadcrumbs here. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I would think that they would. I mean, the fact that it's on there, that's good. That's fine. But what
Oh,
I
really,
want,
Ernie? Wow.
yeah.
You think 2019 was a big success for the majority of the population? There were great games announced, new hardware from Xbox, and generally the conferences were all done pretty well, outside of Ubisoft from what I hear. Actual show itself was in decline. I was watching live streams and the lines weren't nearly as long, and the foot traffic wasn't there.
So Ernie, one thing, I'm gonna have to disregard everything you said because you are loyal to E3. You are a diehard E3 fan. You will always watch E3. You watch it religiously. So you, my friend, do not matter.
Now, are you saying it's going to be like BlizzCon, where you can buy like digital tickets and watch the streams only from like like they won't even do it on YouTube anymore? Like you need to buy the digital ticket in order to get access to the presentations? Like that would suck. But like if you're saying full digital, that would be what it would be. I am, but I keep it real and hate everything, even if I like it.
Yeah, I know. I understand that.
Right.
I'm the same way, but I mean, to me, it's just such a decline from what I've seen before. It's like most of the stuff at E3, I mean, yeah, you can say Nintendo killed it, but are they really a part of E3? It's really Nintendo Direct. If that's not E3, that's Nintendo
It's
Direct.
separate, yeah.
It's separate. You can't say that. So what at E3 really killed it?
I mean, honestly, call me old-fashioned, but I like the press conference, as bad as they can be.
I
There's-
like the
there's
idea.
something- There's something about being on stage.
Come on, man,
and
the
like,
Dorito Priest. I mean, I love
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff.
stuff, yeah,
I
like-
like that stuff.
And,
So,
and when that goes away, I think the identity of what makes E3
when
E3
Shigeru
goes
came
away.
out with the sword and the shield and whatnot, I thought that was badass. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that.
I like Nintendo Directs. Maybe they'll do what they did a few years ago. All the big companies will just do videos, make the show press only, and it would be closed door reveals. Well, that's what it was. I mean, E3 started off as industry only, and it wasn't
Yeah.
until like 10 years ago where they let the public in. And I
I
think
mean,
that's what
that's-
started to decline.
I mean, I kind of like the fact that I kind of like that idea when they let the public in, but I mean, at the same time, yeah, that did start to decline, and I mean, there's nothing like the ephemeral feeling of being there when something's actually released. I mean, how stoked would you be when you were actually there when Shenmue 3 was announced? If you were
Mhm.
actually
Oh, yeah.
on the floor, I mean,
That
would be amazing.
Even well, that's the last time I felt. You know, when they announced Shenmue 3 at the Sony press conference,
I
2015.
mean, Joshua, yes, it's still real, but I mean, at the same time,
Well, he's saying the wrestling. He's like, it's
Yeah.
still real to me,
It's
damn it.
still real to me, damn it.
Yo, Josh, I don't have another extra gold, but I don't think I do. But yeah, but
That was
anyways,
double, but I mean, that's
well, we're wrapping up. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
I mean,
it was an okay show, but I think maybe you can agree with me. I'm no longer getting hype for E3. Like it's not.
I'm
it's not what it
hyped.
once
I'm
was. It's
hyped
not
for
what it
all
once
the
was.
other stuff, but for the actual event itself, I'm not hyped about it. I mean, you can say that technically.
I forgot. Like
Yeah.
until like last Thursday that E3 was happening this
Yeah.
week.
Same.
Or
And, and, there's
before,
still, and that the funny part is there's still more to come tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not really.
But like years
invested.
ago,
Yeah.
I'd be following like a hawk and know
Yeah.
when it's happening. Nothing behooved
Like
me
again,
to
the
like, follow
DOA
through.
announcement, that was actually part of E3, but they didn't announce it on the floor. They announced it on YouTube. So I mean,
What does that tell you? Yeah.
exactly. So it's like that's kind of what I mean. It's like, yeah, Nintendo Direct was awesome. Nintendo won, but is Nintendo Direct part of E3?
Yeah, look at Ernie
No.
bringing it back. For me, it would have been 2004 when Miyamoto announced Twilight Princess.
With the sword.
If I could go back in time, I would go to that conference.
Yeah, man.
Fuck
it was
everything else.
Awesome.
No, wait, are you talking about, was it E3 or was it Space World? Because Space World, when they did Twilight Princess, it was initially that CGI fight of Link and Ganon fighting. But that was Space World. That was
That
before
was
they did
awesome.
E3. Because remember, Nintendo had their own conference called Space World?
Mhm.
I think that's what you're talking about. It wasn't E3 though. But then that didn't end up. The game looked nothing like that. Though. It was just like a render. It was
Mhm.
like a proof of concept thing. Conan the Barbarian intro. Oh, when he had the shield.
Mhm.
That wasn't 2004, was it?
Yeah, when you had the sword and shield, the replicas
Yeah.
and whatnot. Yeah,
Really?
everybody loved that. Like I said, that's what I love about the conferences. There's so much personality. Whether it's cringy or not, you can relish in that. It makes you remember the conference. As you know, we're here, or
When
even though
megatons were dropped.
yeah, where megatons are dropped. Even though there's so much cheesiness, we already know this is just super rehearsed and whatnot. When they announced those games, when they announced the consoles,
Oh
you're
shit!
right.
Yeah, Ernie, that's your picture. That's the one that Miyamoto held.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how I was saying, like the sword and shield. He came out with it. He went like that.
Okay.
It
okay.
was awesome. It was cheesy, but it was awesome. It was
Yeah.
like, all right,
You know what was better than
Yeah.
that though? When they did the Wii music and there was that
Oh,
Indian guy who was doing the drums on the
oh
Wii.
yeah, when they did the Wii music
Wii
band
music,
thing,
yeah.
he's just going.
Miyamoto was like
Ham on
doing the orchestra stuff. And yeah. Anyways, but again, it's that cheesy shit that you
Yeah,
never forget,
it's
right?
awesome.
It's like
Yeah, you never forget it, but it just stays with you. I mean, it's just the personality thing.
I still get goosebumps when I watch that vid I liked. I'll have to check it out.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, the last time I got was Shenmue 3. Like, actually, no, not even Shenmue. I cried because, you know, I never in a million years would have ever thought that that would have been a possibility. And then, you know, Well, okay, so I remember they did Final Fantasy VII Remake first.
Mhm.
There was a double whammy. It was that, and then you hear the first cue of the Shenmue theme song.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
And I was like, "You fuck? No way!" Because you know what happened is I was home alone with my sister, and you know I'm normally not one to like go nuts, and she was in the other side, and she was like, "What happened? What happened?" And I'm just like, "Holy shit! No fucking
Sensei.
Shenmue!"
Oh god.
And she's
Yeah.
like, "What? The game you played on Dreamcast?" I'm like, "They're making it! Holy fuck!" And I have tears in my eyes, and like, so it's hard. It's hard, like for somebody who doesn't know what I'm talking about. But
I know what you're talking about.
but like that was just such like a kick to the balls. Like never would I have thought on a Sunday.
I started jumping up and down. That's why I didn't cry, but I started jumping up and down. I'm like, oh my god, there's
You know,
another
so-
Shenmue.
So this is like,
So
but that's the last
The gaming world
time.
is saved. The gaming
That's
world
the
is
last time I
Yeah.
felt that, and you know, I don't know if I'll ever like even Streets of Rage 4 when I wasn't E3, but that didn't make me feel that, you know, because it was announced on YouTube, so it's like it's not that big stage presentation.
I
you know?
mean, he was crying, but I mean, Ernie, I was jumping up and down like a little kid when I saw it. So I mean, if that counts too, I don't know.
Yo, Ernie, you don't know, man,
Yeah.
because when that
I
shit
was-
happened,
shoot,
I called
fucking
my
excited.
cousin, and we were both in shock, and we're like,
I called Gambit and everyone. I'm like, yo, Shenmue 3 is coming out, man. It's time to get sweaty. It's time to
Mhm.
it's time to work on that tractor and whatnot. It's time, man. Let's go. Let's do it.
Is that your master sword, Ernie? You just putting it out? Is that what you're saying? But
Did you go outside with it?
so the thing is like the potential is there for E3 to make us feel that stuff again. But for me, I haven't felt it since 2015. You know?
Now you want to know what would really get me to cry? If Capcom comes out on E3 at the very last second and say, "Hey,
Darkstalkers.
Darkstalkers 4."
That's all.
I'm like, oh my god, no.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's in 2D and all the sprites are moving correctly.
Mhm.
Capcom.
And
I just
Yoshinori
start-
Ono is
Yeah,
in
I
charge.
just start crying. I'm like, oh no, I
And
can't.
Shinkuro is the lead artist.
Synchro art. I can't.
You know, so it's like I don't know if I'll ever feel that way again, but you know, it's only people who play games would understand. Like that's, you know, gaming, as cheesy as it sounds, it can evoke a lot of
Witcher 4
emotions.
made me cry.
It made you fair. So it's nuts,
I mean,
man.
that'd be cool.
But I mean, so far I didn't feel anything like that this year. Not to belittle all the announcements, but there were solid stuff that was announced.
But you know what we're gonna get next year if there's an E3? Next year if we get an E3, the biggest announcement, I'm calling it Overwatch 2.
That should have happened this year, but yeah. Well,
That's gonna be it.
it'll be Project Scorpio or Scarlet. It'll be at PS5. It has to be the new console.
We haven't talked
next year.
about Project Scarlet about it. Do we really need
There's
to talk
nothing
about
to talk
it?
about, really. It's just theoretics.
Yeah.
You know, they can talk a mile about what they want, but until you see it in motion, it's all theoreticals.
Yeah, it is Blizzard. I mean, Diablo 4, Diablo 4. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
phones. Yeah. I mean, Blizzard's kind of sinking.
Blizzard
Even though I
Racing
see
was
all
the-
this stuff right here, I mean, Blizzard's kind of sinking pretty hard.
But anyways,
We should be wrapping.
yeah.
up, you know.
So my whole idea tonight was to just have somebody over, just to bounce off ideas and things from. I hope you had an interesting time just discussing.
Yeah, I had a
You know?
fun time. I hope you guys had a fun time as well. I hope we didn't. I hope some of our yammering didn't annoy you guys at all.
I honestly was only expecting 1 to 2 people tops. I did not anticipate as many of you.
I
that
mean,
popped in
I was
as you did.
expecting Ernie to be 90% of these, but when you see Ernie on here, I mean, like, look how much it is.
Ernie's hype. Ernie's hype.
I mean, that's legendary right there.
So, since you guys are here, or whoever's watching, do you think, would you like me to maybe do this on a semi-regular basis? Just talk about games or any other type of subject, whatever it may be. This is just totally new. I don't know. I didn't have any game plan going in. I just wanted to talk about E3. And even though we talked about E3, we got sidetracked by this and this and that. I think you
I mean,
guys.
hey, that's the beauty of it, man. We just kind of come in here and we just shoot. I mean,
Shoot
there's
the
really
breeze,
no,
yeah.
there's really no plan. I mean, yeah, the plan is to talk about E3, but we can easily get sidetracked by Godzilla, all
I
this
do
other
that all
stuff.
day,
You
yeah.
know, we were talking about processors and stuff, how to sell them. I mean,
So
that-
Ernie
that's the
says yes, but always about E3.
sure.
So we just talking about
Peter-
E3 all day.
Yeah, I mean, okay, sure.
Rax
Matsumoto
says.
meets Jerry Christie.
Rax says absolutely, and I will help you with thumbnails and keywords. Honestly, Rax, I don't even give a shit about that because I'm not even looking to get exposure. But I mean,
Sure,
if you
you're
could give me
involved.
advice, I mean, sure, that'd be cool.
I
But
mean-
I mean, look, I'm always down to talk and converse about.
I mean,
You know.
sure, on a semi. I mean, because you start your job.
Well, yeah, I don't know what my schedule's gonna look like, but you know, on a day
mean,
off, we could probably talk about
Sure, I
stuff.
mean, I'd be down to do it if you want to. I mean,
Cool,
just, I mean,
cool.
Sure, some
I mean,
reviews would be cool. I mean,
Honestly, this went longer than I thought.
yeah.
But you guys have been very active in the chat, so that's cool. I appreciate that.
And Rax says, "Shut up, I'm doing it."
So
Absolutely.
I'm doing it. Oh
I mean,
shit!
hey man, when Rax puts his mind to something, you can't stop him.
People
Like,
need
he
to
might-
experience the Aldo.
The Aldo.
So again, like, so actually, on a serious note, Rax, I do appreciate it because, like, if you were to, I don't know if any of you have ever seen Rax the Great, subscribe to him, check out his channel. He does like really, like, he has a whole setup.
Rax is
He-
Rax is a pretty funny dude, actually.
He's got a really professional looking setup. This is my fucking room. Like, you know, he's got a green screen. He's got all this fancy stuff.
Mind you,
You know, like-
we just thought of this like
I thought of it last night.
Yeah, we
like,
thought
it
of it
was
last night and said, "Hey, you want to join us on a podcast?" Even though it's technically a video cast.
video
so,
cast.
Yeah, you know, just want to do it. I mean, like, I said, sure. I mean, I get out at 6, so.
So I mean, coming from somebody like Rax, who is professional and has a following on YouTube, that means a lot, dude. I appreciate it, you know. But again, I'm not in it for the glory. I'm just here because one, I have free time, and two, talking about shit is what I can do all day. So
Ernie's killing the chat right now. Oh my god.
I gotta go over Rax and screw him on some BRs. Oh shit.
Oh man.
Start later though, since I usually can't do shit until 9 p.m. See, that sounds like somebody who wants me to be a YouTuber. I do it when I want.
We're not. Yeah, he's not a YouTuber.
Not a YouTuber. I'm not a
He's
streamer.
Aldo.
I'm a Facebook, YouTube, and Twitcher. How about that? There is no glory. It's just being you on you. Well, this is me. This is me. I'm not pretending to be a character. I'm not pretending to be a personality. I wouldn't do that.
Look,
And
man, there is no message here. It's just two old guys talking about some
just
games.
shooting the breeze about
you know?
games and just
Yeah.
having people hang out and chat. So thank you for hanging on as long as you did. I appreciate it. Aldo is the next ninja. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Video games.
He'd have to dye his hair blue and all sorts of stuff and wear.
Yo, Josh.
Big bandana.
All right, so Josh, I'm sure you're watching Velala. Proof is in the pudding, yo. We could do a beer stream next time you come down. We'll do a beer stream. We'll
Oh,
just
man.
we'll just
I'd like
drink
to
beers.
join.
We'll
I'd
just
like to join you guys on that one.
our beers are really hardcore. So
I mean, hey,
we'll see. But
I can down a double pretty
he's
easily.
been bugging me for the longest time. He's like, yo, when are you gonna like live stream like beer reviews? I'm like, well, I've got a webcam, but I'm not doing it anytime because I've given it to Paul. Ever since he stopped the stream, I got it back. So there you go, Josh. We got it. We're gonna do a live
Oh
stream next
God,
time.
I'm the next Sonic Fox, man. What's wrong with you? God, that's nasty.
Who's
Ugh.
that? Is that the
There's a furry guy, the weird furry gay
black
guy.
dude who wears the
Yeah,
Sonic stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh my
okay.
God. Ooh, jeez.
What he wants some type of war, and he's just like, he's
Yeah,
like really
it's-
awkward and weird.
Yeah, I know.
Alright.
Oh my God. I mean, I like to troll a lot. Don't get me wrong, Ernie. I like to troll a lot, but I'm not that level. I'm not furry and weirdness level. So.
I think promoting alcohol might be against TOS. I would look into that. I don't give a shit. So, I'm not, whatever.
I mean, if YouTube has a problem with it, I mean, we're not saying drink underage. We're saying drink when you're older. I mean, we're trying to get you guys into drinking high quality beer.
Oh, so now my cousin, so Linda Crystal,
Mhm.
that's my cousin. So that's Joshua Rivera's. That's he's her boyfriend. So
Oh,
so she's my cousin from Brooklyn.
okay.
But
5
she's
hour
in,
beer stream.
they're chilling right now. So 5 hour. Let's go. Let's go.
I
Lala,
mean,
you want to be part of it?
that'd be pretty cool, actually. I mean, a 5 hour beer stream. I'd be down for that.
Oh shit. Well, no, but thank you guys for hanging out. So again, once my schedule peters out, I mean, I had a stretch of a couple of days off, so I figured let me maybe try this and see what happens. But
I mean, I think it was pretty successful.
no, I mean, thank you for coming to hang out, drink some brews. Thank you for the Shabin one. That was really good
Yeah.
too. The downright uplift YB beer from Shabin Brewing, Rich. I don't care what Rack said for one of beers. So I don't know if you have this in your stores, an Imperial IPA from Shabin. It was actually
And I
really
know
good.
you like
so-
double IPA, so I said, it's a double. I mean, I had this in my fridge for a long time. Why not? Bring it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rax, let's do a beer and Bean Boozle stream. Make sure we have some trash cans ready. Rax, I haven't gotten shit faced since 2008.
And I don't plan to, so, I mean.
I don't think it's possible anymore. I just get gas. That's it. Yep, had it. Not bad. Basically a double Hadouken. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like their Hadouken IPA. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It actually has the guy from the Hadouken IPA in the
He's on
back.
the back, yeah.
But anyways, thank you
That's
all
where I got the idea from. So I started drinking.
for hanging out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, right now it's almost midnight. I may play some more Doom before I go to sleep. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I just want to thank Frank for coming by tonight.
No problem. Pleasure. all
Talk
mine.
some E3 and talk some games. Well, we'll see. Again, I don't know what the roadmap is, but if you want to like, if you want to subscribe, you do you. I'm not going to tell you to do anything, but come on. If you see me on, you see me on. There's no set schedule for any of this. It's just when it happens, it happens. That's all I can tell you. But I'd be down for a beer stream. I'd bring some down. Oh shit, Rich. Oh damn. Look at this. I'm getting like 3 people already talking about.
Oh, man.
Damn.
Sheesh.
So fuck the whole gaming things. We're just gonna beer streams.
Beer reviews. How does this beer taste? How does this one stack against the other?
Do blind beer taste tests, like blind can, blindfold.
I
and see
mean,
what.
surprisingly, that sour wasn't that bad. I mean, even though it was a session, but I mean, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Smash that like button in the face. I would. Oh man, you said that, not me.
Yeah. I mean, he's promoting the like stuff. I mean,
Ernie's
Sure.
Rich, come down. Let's do a 4-way podcast. Next Congo and Norwalk. Let's do it. Oh shit, that's in August, right? Yo, do you want me to bring them? Like, well, I gotta figure out this mic first. Make sure it doesn't fuck up. But you want to do a stream in the middle of Congo? Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. And Eric Nelson will be there. So we'll have him. We'll have Eric Nelson come. I would love to interview him.
They need the experience, man.
I would love to interview Eric Nelson, man. He'd be like, you imagine him on the mic? It'd be so amazing. It'd be, he would tell us about his travels in Shinto, Kyoto,
Indeed.
and other obscure places in Japan. Shibuya Prefecture, and what, I don't know if I'm making that up, but let's do it. Let's do it. It'd be great. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope, remember, I think there's one more day of E3 coverage. So
Yeah.
tomorrow, I think is the last day. I could be wrong.
I have no idea. I mean, I wasn't following.
No,
How's it work?
so Josh, Congo is a Connecticut thing. So Congo is it's a swap meet of retro games, but they're held within various locations in Connecticut. And the next one is hitting here in Norwalk, tentatively in August. So that's what Congo means. Not the actual jungle Congo, but it's actually CONNGO, the Connecticut Gamers Organization. That's what Congo stands for. So it's a swap meet, just people trading and selling old video games and hanging out. So tomorrow's last day, closes at 9 p.m. All right, cool. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, or any ladies who are watching. Lala, thank you for watching.
Thank
I will
all.
tell you, Josh,
Thank
Lala, Isa called me during our stream. I couldn't
Yeah,
pick
I
up
saw
though.
that. Yeah.
Isa called me. She called me 3 times today. So just keep them count.
But yeah, thank you all for watching. Definitely a lot more than we expected, actually.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I had no expectations.
Because we just started it randomly at like 8. So I mean, hey,
But yeah,
more action than we expected.
cool. So
Way
again,
more
thank you
activity.
for watching. Whenever this may happen, I don't know. But if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. But thank you all for your kind words. Thank you, Meme King, for that subscribe. And he didn't even pop up in the chat. Look at this guy, this lurker. It was amazing. But thank you, Rax. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ernie. Thank you,
It's
Ryan
funny.
from RGA Punisher, Maximilian, Francis, Josh, Lala. For anyone else I may have missed, thank you all for
It's
hanging.
funny because on here it looks like you're still trying to talk into that mic.
It is, yeah, because I'm holding it by
Yeah.
just I don't know, just.
And I
'cause-
keep forgetting that we're actually talking into the
To the camera.
Yeah, to the camera. I keep thinking that we're talking into
Yeah,
this
yeah.
for some odd reason. I don't know why, but yeah.
But yeah, thank you
This
all
was,
for watching. Yeah,
I hope you guys have fun. Good.
I guess we'll see what happens next time, or whenever
We'll
that
see
is.
you
I
next
don't know.
time, whenever that is. Or he'll see you next time, and whenever I'm a guest again.
Cool.
Cool.
But yeah, thank you all for watching. Take care. Remember,
Man,
don't.
you are a short dude.
I am a short dude. Absolutely, I am.
Cheers. Hi.
Cheers high for me, because
Yeah.
I'm short. Thank you all for watching. Remember, don't let the bed bugs bite. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires. I'm always going to say that. Always. Tomorrow night? Nah, dude. I gotta
Whoa, no.
go to sleep.
Yeah.
Peace.
Cheers.